Should be live. Yeah, OBS is a lot better at this nowadays. Although the screen's still black. Here we go. There we are.
It's okay, Dros. It's just their solidarity showing.
Yeah. Solidarity, for like the same solidarity that everyone seems to be showing for the guy who ran into a parade of 20 people today. Well, not today, but the couple days ago.
I was gonna say there was another one.
Yeah, there was another one, but it honestly, all of this shit happens so often now that I can't. I just assume it happened yesterday, because it's like, when does it not happen at this point? And we're also getting into the holiday season, so like a lot of this shit's gonna start happening, like ramping up probably. Because if it doesn't happen here, it's gonna happen in Europe.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Australia is having a lot of problems. And then China had 10 explosions in 1 week. Mysterious explosions with no apparent explanation that are probably gas leaks or something that's, totally not civil unrest.
I mean, with China, you really don't know, right? It could just be their shitty power system, or it could be civil unrest.
It could be, and that's the hilarious part.
Like, that you're really playing bingo with China.
As like you throw a dart at a board and just see whatever it lands on. Is like, oh, okay, this one was dissidents. This one was the gas leak. This one was dissidents caught in a gas leak.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get like a little bit of vague overlap between the two. Something that really something that really shows you that there's a middle ground to be had here between incompetence and just plain malicious intent.
Plot twist. China's actually in the middle of a brutal civil war, and they're just preventing anyone else from finding out about it.
Wow. Yeah, I guess I'll add that real quick. Okay. So, I'll start us off at the beginning of the night. Because, it was technically it was a story that we were supposed to cover with, our last cast. So, this is
Blizzard cast, yeah.
So this is kind of like our catch-up homework, real quick. Let's see. Okay. Well, this is not the one I just wanted to start it on, but it's a good it's emblematic of the entire issue what we're going to be talking about.
They couldn't even get their logo right.
Yeah, so we were playing talks about this last week, kind of ran out of time, but the GTA Trilogy came out, kind of flopped. It was by a studio that they what's the word?
Contracted it
Yeah,
out.
they contracted the development out to a secondary studio called Grove Street Studios, I believe. And seems like Rockstar just didn't give them enough time or something.
Or money or
both. Like, they just didn't give them enough everything. Like, if first of all, I feel like
that's because they only want to put minimal effort in and get maximum return.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, it's very weird to me that you would hand off something like GTA Trilogy off to another studio. I know that's kind of like the industry norm, but I don't know, man. I feel like you should actually have the main GTA developers there to like refresh everything and with some of the changes that they made, like removing the rebel flag out, censoring some shit and stuff like that, I feel like that would be best left up to the actual team. I'm not saying I'd feel better about it, but it would make more sense that the actual team is going in and trying to like self-correct some of the wrongs that they perceive they did.
I wouldn't even be surprised if those were specifically like the only requests Rockstar made.
Wouldn't be surprised either, actually.
You know, typically if you're going to farm out your development to a third party, you got to give them plenty of support. And if not, it's going to go well. Like, I can only think of one instance it actually went really well with, and that was when Bethesda gave Obsidian a shot at New Vegas, which they had a ridiculously short time to develop. But Obsidian's the one who invented the Fallout series, so they managed to pull it off. But other than that instance, I can't think of another time that contracting something out and not giving, enough time and money, etc., has ever worked.
Yeah. And that's what it looks like in the game. You couldn't even get on there.
It's hard to tell from that angle what exactly it's wrong about.
So if you look here, this is a better shot. Like, the pool is fine, right? But look at the map.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not a good one. And it literally looks like the Star of David, which is God damn, I don't have the hit. What? Almost said the. I don't have any Jewish music on the background on tap to cue in for this, but I wish I did. Let's just say God's chosen people are represented well in the new GTA trilogy. But that's kind of like this, that's a kind of a simple fuck up, right? Oh, someone just accidentally put an extra point on the map, right? That can't be that bad. Well, it goes beyond that. So, rain in these trilogy is a bit of a problem.
How so?
Well, it rains through buildings, through cars, through roofs. When you're riding around, the rain renders like behind water sources, behind water sources. So like if you're riding looking at a lake, the rain will just disappear and the lake will physically pop out at you because of the way it looks, right?
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, I don't have the video, but it shows like a guy riding a bike, and you see the rain stop with the water, and you can just see the water. It looks like the water was like superimposed on your view, and it looks so strange.
The conspiracy theorist in me wants to say Rockstar did this intentionally to make people think less of the previous games so that they could try to get people to play 5 more.
I mean, that could be a thing, yeah. I mean, I don't think they go that far.
We need to kill their nostalgia so they buy more shark cards from us.
I think they just made a big mistake, like most companies do. They gave it out to a developer that they like either knew or one that was like had a kind of good record for remakes or something, because I haven't checked Grove Street Studios. And then they just didn't give enough time.
Just based off the name, I almost think it's an offshoot company they started and were like, okay, hire developers and build this thing.
Yeah, like right here.
Because it's hard to believe that there's a Grove Street developer that's, isn't just kind of infringing on Grove Street from GTA.
Yeah, I think they named it that because they specifically were like, they were massive fans of San Andreas and stuff, and San Andreas was the one that was the most broken from the reports I got. Yeah.
Makes me glad I still have my original discs.
Just trying to see if there's anything worth. Yeah, basically, I think he said something to the effect of like, I'm glad people are enjoying what we managed to put out there. And people like roasted his ass on an open fire.
I mean, that's what happens when you use PR speak.
But what ended up happening is it got so bad and it was so broken that... Okay, take over for just a second. I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
see, it'd be nice if they had CEOs that would just come out and be like, yeah, screw the NDA we have with Rockstar. Fact is, they didn't give us the money or the time. It's their fault. Sorry, we couldn't deliver. But it's just kind of, it's disappointing. Like I said, I still got my original discs. I'm good. I can survive. I can just go play the old games or mod them or whatever. But this is just kind of garbage.
Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, it got so bad with all the shit that they ended up having to take it off of the store.
Yeah, I think they reinstated the older versions too for being able to buy on Steam and stuff.
Yeah, on everywhere but Steam, I believe. Which is a great look. So...
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Yeah... Yeah, I think they even did their they did a meme like this at like the either Grove Street or Rockstar, and it also got roasted on the fire. Like it's you should have stayed away from memes for the entirety of like the 2 weeks that this was out. But yeah.
Yeah, the generation you're pissing off was the one that was there at the beginning and created memes.
And well, not only that, like what kind of really is stupid is like this is like I only have a story. I only have one company that is more out of touch than GTA right now, and that's only because they haven't released GTA 6 to be the absolute bomb that it might be. Because, you know, they have if you watch last year's E3, they had a whole 2-hour long, it was either an hour or 2-hour long panel where they talked about like basically diversity and equity in the game industry from like basically they lectured the customers, then they went and lectured the entire industry in another panel. It was quite something. Like,
Oh yeah, just winning hearts and minds there, I see.
yeah, it was a pretty shitty. I watched it, unfortunately, because I was sitting there watching E3, and I was just like, dear God, GTA 6 when it comes out is going to be an absolute paused bombshell, right? It's gonna have like gay black lesbian main character who's like Saints Row working off their student debt or some other dumb bullshit that some dumb millennial plot point that some CEO goes, oh yeah, that'll work, that's what the kids are into now, and it'll just be...
Except millennials aren't kids anymore, they're in their 30s.
Well, I mean, millennials are perpetually kids anyway. So
well, fair point, but you know what I mean. Yeah. See, as to where GTA 5 was an instant buy for me when it came out on the computer. One of the rare games I pre-ordered and I don't regret it. Not gonna do that with 6.
I didn't pre-order 5 because, like I said before in the pre-stream when we were talking about Saints Row, 5 had a lot to like had a lot to do to bring me back to GTA, because after 4, no. 4 was one of those like, if you're gonna keep making GTAs like this again, I'm good. Because if you're gonna make a game like that, Max Payne is the way to go.
Well, in all fairness, when it was coming out on PC, it had been out for a while on console.
Yeah.
So I kind of already knew it looked like a good game. And on top of that, I had high expectations. And, you know, it took me that whole week after I pre-ordered to download the fucking thing.
Yeah, it was incredibly large for its time. I mean, it still is. The only game I have that's bigger than GTA... Fuck, what was it? It might be the Halo Master Chief Trilogy, which is like 98
Yeah,
gigs.
that's pretty big.
Yeah, and that's before you even start downloading the actual games. Because you have to go inside
Yeah, I
and
remember that.
yeah, it's
I really dislike how big games are getting now.
oh yeah, like I mean, that's why there's a certain part of the internet where their job is to quote unquote repack them into smaller size, file like installs.
One thing that could help, because a lot of what may inflates the size is the game assets, because the higher definition you make it, the more data has to be there for it. So someone like me who only has 1080p, just let me only download the 1080p version.
Well, it's even beyond that. Another thing, if you like,
Oh, and lazy development. There's a lot of lazy development that
well, even
does
beyond
not
that, a lot what they tend to do with a lot of these games is they give you what's basically an international release, right? So you have a cutscene that's you have like 12 to 30 versions of the same cutscene on your
yeah, with
computer.
different languages and
Yeah,
stuff.
which you could just say, "Hey, I'm English. I only need one." That would cut some of the bloat out, right? The problem is like when you get a game, you get a one size fits all install. There's even like there's like trailers and shit that you can't really even access readily inside your game files. Like there are cutscenes, like trailers, cutscenes they didn't use, all this other
Yeah.
shit that they just include that they were just not, they were too fucked to actually just take it out. So
Well, it, it's not totally that, because some stuff they don't like, for instance, levels and interiors that they didn't use but takes up space. One of the reasons developers don't remove that is removing it could, in theory, break other stuff if someone used that space for something somewhere.
yeah, I'm not really talking about like assets and stuff. I'm just talking about like if you made a fully rendered CGI cutscene
Yeah.
for marketing purposes, don't put it in my game. Don't need that. Right? Like we get it. I watched the trailer online or whatever at E3. I don't need it in my game. Like there's so many little bits and bobs that I mean it really is like attacking like 10% of the budget in a sense, but it's still 10% that doesn't need to be there. It's an easy cut.
Yeah. Honestly, I think a lot of the problems we get are just lazy development.
Yeah, and there's just I was reading an interview by someone and they were saying a lot of the problem is that there's no real expert that's in charge of like a good like making good compression for these companies, there's no one there to like do quality control for your file size, so it just goes by the wayside.
Well, yeah, because as computers have gotten more powerful, programmers have got lazier and lazier about optimizing. And the thing is, if you want to get people who are experts in optimization in various areas, you can.
Yeah,
You're gonna pay for it, and they don't want to pay for it. It's there are programmers that are like 1 in 1,000 that are ridiculously good, ridiculously fast, but you'll have to pay them a lot more. And a lot of these companies would rather have employees that can be interchanged more easily than a handful of employees that you can't afford to lose.
look at Blizzard.
So you end up with, you know, code that is easy to work with, but doesn't do its job very efficiently. And then, of course, you don't listen to QA because you want to push the game out the door, because the higher ups want to see a return on their investment in this quarter
And
to
you're
make them look good.
and you're probably your bonuses are sitting there riding on their internal happiness.
Yeah, as opposed to taking the approach of, okay, this is actually not where it should be to meet our standards. We're going to pull it back a quarter or two. They
Yeah.
don't want to do that. And so you get rushed stuff, which, like this, I'm sure it was incredibly rushed because they're like, yeah, we want you to basically rebuild all these GTA games, and you've got like 12 months. You've got like less time than it took us to develop a single one of them. And it's ridiculous to me.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous to me that they would basically let GTA fall to the wayside like this. It's like, holy hell, guys. This is like your primo fucking. This is your premier franchise. Like, this is the thing that makes you the most money in the industry. This should be.
Yeah, but see, those don't have shark cards, so they don't care.
It's like it doesn't matter. They're gonna print more money than the shark cards do. Well, I guess maybe not, but it's still gonna be like, it's one of those things. You invest just like a good amount of money in this, and you get more than your money back in easily. Like, your return on investment is so guaranteed to be stellar that it's like it should be a no-brainer.
Yeah, but the return on investment has to be higher than last year's return on investment.
But that's why you couple it with other things. Like, it's
See,
not like
they're not happy with just getting a good return. They want to continually get better returns.
yeah, it's so stupid because it's like, you know that like shark cards aren't suddenly gonna sell out less. I guess in a way, if you want to go back to like what you were saying, maybe they weren't too concerned about it, because if they put out GTA Trilogy, right, that was good, then it, like, people would go play that instead of GTA 6 and their shark card revenue would take a hit. And it's two products competing for each other's attention.
Yeah.
I could kind of
I'm also I'm almost surprised with how greedy they've been that they didn't like shoehorn shark cards into the trilogy somehow, that you could pay for to unlock other stuff.
yeah. Don't give them bad ideas, Whiskey.
Look, I don't want them to do it. I'm just genuinely surprised they didn't, which would have caused even more backlash.
Yeah, it's so terrible too, because I mean, I was like, until at the start, I was like, oh, this is a good idea. Then they're like, oh, well, we're gonna start censoring some of the shit in it. I'm like, oh, that's fucked. And then it just splats on fucking launch, and it's like, well, the censorship is the least of your concerns now. Like, instead,
Yeah.
I find it funny that you could find time to remove shit out of the code and alter assets from their base meaning, but you couldn't find time to tighten up your game. It's funny to me. It's like, you're so worried about the social implications of a fucking guy with a Rebel t-shirt from the fucking, because San Andreas, early 2000s, which was a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a thing now, but like, you're talking about like 20 years ago almost. It just, to me, how could you let GTA Trilogy fall this far? Even like, it's like, to me, it would be like, well, you're gonna sell this, you know, you're gonna make a shit ton of money off of it, right? People are gonna play it for like 2 weeks, and then they're gonna put it back in the bin, and they're gonna go back to GTA 6 or GTA 5, right? That would be my sales pitch there. It's like, because that's what's gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, people like if someone actually thinks that like a bunch of gamers are gonna go back and play 20-year-old plus games that are there right now, and then they're suddenly gonna be like, oh my god, there was a time where you didn't have to pay for everything in the game, I just bought it once and played it, and suddenly the market's gonna shift. It's like, I have a really far away bridge to sell you, and I need the money up front, because it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I could see them actually being a little worried, because there's people who play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas online to this day on the PC.
Oh my god, what tortured individuals. God.
Well, they've because it's modded, they've basically got a lot of the kind of crazy shit you can do with the GTA Online, where you can make your own game modes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's different kinds of like weird game modes. Like, I think I've seen one where you try to knock each other's cars off a platform, like a destruction derby.
Oh yeah, they have that in GTA 5, yeah.
And you've got like deathmatch and a bunch of other stuff.
Honestly, that's probably where all of those custom games came from in GTA.
Probably. The modders need to sue Rockstar for stealing their ideas.
Well, they probably just did that, or because they did add custom, like more custom game types, and a lot of the modders probably just made their game types in the custom editor.
Yeah, fair point. So, yeah, they still play a lot of those games today. I mean, it's not a huge community, but there is a community out there.
Because the community for GTA is pretty good. Like, I mean, they're assholes to each other, yeah, but I mean, like the actual support for the community is pretty good.
See, all I wish is that Rockstar had taken the GTA 5 engine, and did a true remake of GTA San Andreas in it.
Yeah, like, because that's what I feel like you should have done. Me, honestly, what I would have done is I would have done.
And like, not kept the old models. You make everything from scratch again,
Well,
make it the same.
what I would have done is I would have went back and remade the very first three GTAs. And when I say that, I don't mean GTA 3. I mean like GTA 1 and 2 in London. And I would do that as a trilogy, but I would redo all the graphics in them to where they're modern standards.
So would you be transitioning them to 3D or leaving them 2D? Okay.
And then probably develop like updated asset 2D versions that go along that are modernized so they can run on modern drivers.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then,
I mean, you can still run them through DOSBox.
yeah, well, I can run them through emulation too and not have to go to DOSBox. Fucking hate DOSBox. And DOS, I will never play games on fucking DOS. I will literally go and fucking smack two rocks together before I go and fucking game on DOS.
See, I gamed on DOS when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, you didn't know any better and you didn't have any better.
You know, I actually got an old DOS game we had from my grandma's computer, and it was basically two monkeys on skyscrapers throwing bananas at each other. It's a lot like Worms, but not as crazy. And I used to love that game, and I played a remade version of it. I'm like, this isn't as fun, because it was the glitches that made the thing so much fun. Like, if you did things just right, you could like make bananas warp to the other side of the map. It was hilarious. It was funny as hell.
Man, it's like I was saying, I wish when games were ridiculous. Like, you get them now, but it's not as often. Like, back in the day, everything used to be ridiculous. Every game used to be, like, have to require this certain degree of, like, I have to give a game a lot of pull, otherwise I'm not going to enjoy this game.
Yeah.
Like I was telling, I actually got a person who plays 14 into 11. And they're like, oh my god, this game is so fucking evil because they got killed by the orc, and he goes to punch a rabbit, and it's a level 6 rabbit instead of like a level 3 rabbit, and you can't because 11 you don't know the levels.
Yeah,
you have to use check.
It murders you.
Yeah, and it murders him. He's like, the fuck, I just got killed by a rabbit that I've been killing them all day. I'm like, yeah, but that rabbit was slightly higher than the other rabbits you were around, so it just whooped your ass. Like 3 levels in 11 is a big deal. And he's like, that's so fucking evil. I'm like, well, here's where you misunderstand. 11 does not give a fuck at all about you.
Yeah, you're not this amazing hero of light starting out. You're just another number.
Yeah.
It don't give a shit.
Well, even then, 11 is just, it gives you a unyielding, uncompromising world, and you have to
Yeah.
do your best to adjust to it. Like, that's how games used to be, right?
I really do miss that approach in a lot of ways.
Like, I actually was...
Because the world's felt much more alive.
Yeah, it just feels like whenever you go into a game and you basically have to deal with the game's shit and then get used to the game the way it is, it feels much better 90% of the time than if you have like difficulty sliders, because it feels like you have one unified vision for the game and everything works within that view. Instead of you made just 3 versions, and sometimes it's just the numbers, or sometimes other enemies get attacks that the others don't, or, you know, sometimes you can do things you can't do in the other difficulty modes. I just want one difficulty where all of that's under one umbrella, governed by one overall philosophy that's not tainted by like number scaling and shit like that. There's exceptions to this for like games like Pathfinder, Kingmaker. I'm glad that game actually has sliders, because strategy games like that are incredibly cruel at the beginning. You okay, Whiskey? Uh-oh. That's not good. I kind of noticed something was maybe wrong.
Yeah, so Firefox was dying and I couldn't get it to close. So I pull up Task Manager, and Task Manager not responding, and I'm just like, oh fuck.
Windows 10, man.
Now that I'm fucking opening it so that I can pull articles back up, it wants to fucking update. I miss the days when you had to ship it on disk correct or just not ship it.
Windows 11 would like to know your location.
I'm sure it fucking would. That's what the VPN is for.
God damn. Some of the problems it's had alone, it makes me never want to get it. And they already said they're going to stop support of 10 by 2025.
I'm waiting for the class action lawsuit saying it would be the last version of Windows, and Microsoft should be barred from making any other operating systems.
They should, yeah. I mean, because if you make a claim like that, that is, or at the very least, you should be sued to high hell.
Or be required to give a refund to every single person who's ever purchased it or licensed it.
Ayo. I have a legit key. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Give me money.
Could you imagine that though? Someone take them to a court and a court rules, yes, you're not allowed to develop an operating system ever again.
Well, you have to maintain. What I could probably see is
you have to maintain this one for all eternity now.
Yeah. Like, they would be so fucked.
That would be hilarious.
Man.
I mean, it's not going to happen, but...
Nor realistically should it, because that...
No, but...
Because...
I'd like them to be held to something for once.
And I can already see kind of the court case where someone's going to make the argument that no one really thought Microsoft was going to support anything forever, did they? It's like, the reasonable person, you can bring in 10 people, 10 normies, and they'd be like, would you expect Windows 10 to last forever? And they're like, no. Is there 11 out? And they're like, yes. Oh yeah, I should probably switch to 11. And then the defense is like, ah.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of the changes they're making, which continue from what they did in 10, are basically all geared to sell you the operating system as a service.
Yeah.
They want to go back to the old days where you had a mainframe and everyone connected with dumb terminals so that they get to control everything.
You know what triggers the fuck out of me with Windows 11?
What's that?
You can't move the taskbar.
Wow.
I always have my fucking taskbar on the right of my screen. I had since I
You
was a
heretic.
yeah, I have since I was a fucking teenager, and I will continue to fucking do so.
But you know, going back to what we were saying pre-stream with you thinking you'll test out Linux, at least if nothing else, you might have another option when things get bad enough.
Yeah, because honestly, I think that's probably what's going to end up like spiking Linux or something development is that when 11 just get or when the current Windows gets too bad. Because I mean, there's a lot of really bad problems with 11 right now. Like they fixed a good bit of them, but it's like what you said, you shouldn't have to fix these major flaws right out of the box. Like AMD CPUs got like a massive hit in performance. The overall system is way less stable than 10 is. Like it File Explorer crashes way more often. Um the graphics drivers, the actual Windows helper that is like, oh, your graphics drivers are out of date. It'll downgrade your drivers automatically. It's just like there's
Uh,
so many little things that like why? Yeah.
yeah, that's one reason I don't want to move away from 7 is 7 gives me the ability to look up a specific update that I know is having trouble and then tell Windows never install that under any circumstances, and it will respect that and not do it, or uninstall that update and tell it never to install it again.
I still haven't updated this computer on Windows 10 like since I got it out of the box. It's like your computer is at risk of being out of date, and it's like, yeah, but if you never get to push the initial update, you can't force me to do it. So as long as I don't, eventually it'll happen because I'll like reset my computer and it'll give the prompt. If you don't answer the prompt in like 5 seconds, it automatically starts updating. But
Here's what
I
you
got
do.
it right now.
Here's what you do. Buy one of the cheap $10 Raspberry Pi Zeros, and buy the power cable and some other stuff, and learn how to run Pi-hole and block whatever the hell you want, and then you just block the IP addresses to Microsoft's update servers.
That's another thing. I'm gonna kind of have to watch it now because I've heard they like try to stealth update you to 11 now.
Yeah, but see, if you use Pi-hole, they can't do that
Yeah.
communication. And it's not just your computer, it's any computer on your network will be prevented from it.
Just when is technology gonna be good again?
Uh,
It's good. Like I was so optimistic 5 years ago.
I miss Web 1.5. Web 2.0 needs to die.
Yeah, because it's just like a bunch of companies have just done what they always do and seize a few key points of the internet and then they own everything. And they
I
can
mean, realistically, the users are partially to blame as well.
yeah, but it's also like whenever this always happens, it's like this. There's this problem coming to cryptocurrency too, is that like whenever there's a call to revision something like the internet or something, it's always with the intent to make it more centralized.
Yeah, which is the opposite of what you should be doing with the internet.
And so it's like the internet starts out really decentralized and people are like, oh, we want to move to like Web 2.0 and it'll be more interconnected and it'll be easier to get around. And it's like, but then like there's like 5 payment processors that run everything in the background now.
I mean, realistically, there's a lot of good shit that came out of the innovations. It's just, it's like, for instance, with Google and YouTube. even if there was a decent competitor to it, feature-wise, you need people to move in mass. Otherwise, you won't get the momentum to actually take a good market share away. And you end up with a chicken egg problem. So people just congregate where other people are.
I hate that metaphor so much.
Ah, motherfucker. Why is Firefox crashing again? Fucking Windows 10.
Speaking of. Oh, Jesus Christ. Never stops. Do you want me to go on to the next article while your stuff is crashing?
Yeah.
Okay, let me exit out of these real quick.
Fucking hell. That's it. I am going to have to go through the bullshit to install the Discord streaming and screen sharing on fucking Linux, man. That's just what I'm going to have to do.
I mean, you know it's coming. Let's see.
Knowing it and wanting it are two different things. Because I know the amount of work that it's probably going to take me to get to a point where I'm satisfied with it.
Okay. Since we've talked about a lot of out of touch companies, right? That's a current theme of the show that keeps coming up a lot. You know, we've talked about Blizzard, Microsoft, and I mean, this company I'm going to bring up is we've talked about it too, and it's one I didn't like the company, but I like the products they made, but more and more, they're showing a reason why you should probably just stay away from them. I mean, I haven't bought any Games Workshop stuff since my last box was like last year. But yeah.
Well, now you can make your own miniatures.
Yeah, yes and no, because I have an FDM printer because I was fucking retard.
Yeah, and what you really need was a resin.
Yeah. So after probably next year I'll get into resin printing because it's not even just a resin printing, or you gotta build like a shroud for it so you can vent all the fumes and stuff.
Or hear me out. You could use your current 3D printer to 3D print induction molds that you can then pump plastic into and mold it like the professionals.
Yeah, I kind of actually want to I don't know exactly how I would start it. I kind of want to learn 3D modeling with the intent of creating like a snap together kind of box like that. Because then you could take like a sticker or something and seal all the cracks on the inside. And then you could just make a box for it like that through 3D printed shapes and assemble the box and sticker over it to keep it locked in place and airtight, and then you vent out.
Okay, so apparently Windows is just not going to let me pull up a browser. So I'm just going to send you the links to the articles I have.
Okay. That's fine.
If I can fucking open it in my browser, motherfucker. I fucking swear. Son of a bitch. Okay. You go over the article. I'm turning my laptop on and sending everything through Discord.
Shit. Okay.
So stupid.
So we're gonna have a bit of a long read. This is gonna be great and very, very enlightening for anyone who is former, current, and future Games Workshop customers, you should probably never give money to this company ever again. After my white scar comes in, I'm just never going to a Games Workshop website ever again. And I'm definitely not going to the local shop. Games Workshop fights back against fascist hate symbols in the Warhammer 40k community. Yeah, I'm not going to go over the quote up top because there's a whole letter we're going to go through.
I mean, isn't the Imperium kind of fascist?
Actually, it's like there are parts of it that are, I imagine, like within its own little spheres, but like the best way to describe the Imperium is not necessarily fascistic, but like neo-feudalism. Right? Because I mean, fascism is everything belongs to the state and nothing can exist outside of the state, right? But there are, like, in the Imperium, there are little pools of collective, like, governments and whatnot, and the Imperium kind of acts like the federal government and just, like, you know, rounds them all together and demands tithe from them. You know, so it's basically a lot like our federal government, really.
Yeah, but somewhat more imperialistic.
Yeah, like, it's just the federal government never really being tested for its powers, and it's all coming from Terra. So, like, and that's kind of like a bit of neo-feudalism, because when you're, like, one overarching agency who has undeniable rights to tell everybody else what to do, and you govern everybody else's little kingdom, right? That's what the Imperium is. So, like, whenever you become a part of the Imperium, they give you a tithe, and then they go, well, if you can't send me money, you need to send me food. If you can't send me food, you need to send me men. If you can't send me men, you need to find something on your planet that's worth being brought into the Imperium for, or else you can literally be dropped by the Imperium. Like, this was actually a thing with the Krieg homeworld. They literally had, like, a rebellion against Imperial rule. It was a verdant, what's it called? Like what's it called whenever a planet is like nothing but farmland? I can't remember the actual term for.
I don't know.
It's basically a farm world, right? Like it's agri world. It's literally just there. It's a lush paradise of all this like agriculture, and that's all they want from you is just put vegetables on a fucking boat and then send it out to a spaceship that goes out to the Imperium, right? To process that into protein blocks. And they basically had a coup where they would like a anti-imperialistic faction within Krieg, you know, wanted all of the tithe instead of just some of it, right? And so they basically took control of the planet, and the people who remained loyalists basically took the last measures that the Imperium told them to take, which is like launch a bunch of nukes onto the planet and turn the entire planet into a nuclear hellscape. And, you know, getting to the point here, basically at that point there was nothing left on the planet to be a tithe for except for men. So the Imperium took it in men, like, and they were threatening to drop them before that. Like, they were like, well, if you can't bring me in the tithe, you're not going to be part of the Imperium. That's not very fascistic. Fascism would... Yeah, fascism, I feel, would be like, you're going to be producing something. I don't care what it is, but you're going to be producing it. Like, you don't get a choice. So the Imperium isn't like, I mean, there are fascistic elements within like minor territories in the Imperium. Like, kind of like Gilman kind of does it, at least kind of in my view, because he's kind of like the ultimate ruler of Ultramar, right? Because he's the Primarch. And a big thing he did before, like, the current Warhammer thing was he basically broke up Ultramar, the power of Ultramar, into and put it in the humans' hands. So like a bunch of worlds were under human governors. And when he came back, all the governors had fucked up and, been corrupt assholes. And he basically purged a lot of them and brought them back under his control. That is fascism in my view. Like, he literally just assumed direct control of the system. It's like, you know what? I gave you your chance. Now you're mine again. Now you do what I say. Now you don't get a choice. I could be wrong in that. Right? I could just be a basic dictator. But he took over, like, it's not like you were allowed to go away from Ultramar with that deal. You just got to choose a leader.
Yeah.
So it's like, no matter what, you're part of Ultramar. So if you fuck up, at best, I come down and Daddy Gulliman has a talk with your leader, and we're going to get things back on track. At best, you get to pick what color of fascism you actually want to deal with. So there's a big debate with that. If you ask a communist from Sig Marxism, they would tell you, oh yeah, the Imperium is like a totally fascist Nazi type place where, like, everyone's ground under the heel of, like, capitalists. It's like, probably not. No, like, there's a problem.
Whoa. First off, fascistic Nazis were also socialist, so they didn't believe in capitalism.
But in this, I don't know how much of this goes over the actual article. Okay, yeah, here I remember. Warhammer 40k creator Games Workshop released a statement earlier today outlining a zero tolerance policy for hate groups. How much you want to bet me, before we get into this further, that Nazi symbols are not allowed, but you can wear a hammer and sickle and it'd be perfectly fine there?
Probably. Isn't some of the like symbols in the Imperium kind of modeled after, like, some of the Nazi stuff?
Well, it's
like the eagle they've got.
Well, it's less that and more that this is they're actually kind of derived from the same thing, because a lot of German, like, aesthetic from the Nazi era is derived from Rome. Like the Imperator, I'm probably butchering this. The Imperator Eagle or whatever. I can't remember the correct name. The Aquila.
Yeah, okay, fair point.
You look at the Ultramarines. The Ultramarines
all
are
I'm trying
literally
to say, if they're trying to purge it of anything that could hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not that they are not, that they have the same symbolism. Like, it's not that they're like, it's not that they're parrying Nazism. It's that they're getting it from the same source, which is like Roman / European heritage. So
all I'm saying is it seems a little inconsistent when you have stuff from the same source.
Well, they're gonna get to that, right? They're gonna tackle that issue that you have head on with a really dumb take.
I'd rather they just go the opposite direction and say, we don't give a shit about your feelings. If you don't like the way this fandom is, maybe it's not for you.
Yeah, but then that would, in their mind, cost them money.
No, well, we all know they're just going to 3D print everything from now on anyway. They've already lost all their money.
They have a zero tolerance policy for hate groups at officially sanctioned events. The Imperium is driven by hate. Warhammer is not. The post begins before explaining the difference between its game setting and behavior that's actually acceptable at community events. And, okay, this is the hate symbol, too, that was there. This is what this is all about, by the way.
Oh, it's that thing that's circled. I'm looking around going, where's a hate
Yeah,
symbol?
where's the hate symbol at, man? Oh my god. Yeah,
See,
you expect someone to be walking in there with like full brown shirt attire with a giant
here's the
Nazi
thing,
flag,
though.
like
That's not.
I would hate the Jews.
That's not a Nazi
That's the
symbol,
worst
though.
German.
It's a Celtic knot.
The worst German accent ever, but I don't have Nuri here.
Quick, call Nuri.
He's the silly.
Ask him to say terrible things.
I need you to come in here and do your best Hitler impression for the stream.
Then you just need to record that conversation because it will be amazing.
But yeah, it's like, wow. And what it is in this tournament, because he went to a tournament dressed like this, people refused to play with him because he was wearing this, right? And they were like, no, I'm not going to play with him, which cost them points in the tournament and shit like that. Like, even the tournament was like, wait, hold on. You don't want to fight him. You don't want to play him in Warhammer because he has a weird, like, Nazi jacket.
It's like, okay, well, you forfeited.
Yeah, it's like, you're being a bit of a pussy, dude. So, I'm gonna deduct points from you. You can either choose
Which is the right call.
You can either choose to fight him and face off against Nazis like your grandfather did, or you could bitch out and not.
I don't think the guy running the tournament was that grounded, but I like to think he was.
You could bitch out. It's not what your grandfather did, right? Conquering the Nazis and all that. But you know, that's not my choice to make. That's your choice, right?
I wish you were the guy making that decision, because I would have loved to see that conversation go down.
Jesus Christ, man.
It's so stupid. It's a fucking tournament. You're mad that the person you're fighting is wearing something you find objectionable. So win.
Yeah.
Like, make a bet with him as though it were strip poker, that if you win, he's got to take the shirt off. People are just stupid.
See, I'm gonna take points off because he didn't even roll in with like a custom chapter where they're painted with like swastikas or something, right? Like, I mean, when I hear this, I expected someone to walk in, like I said, with full brown shirt attire, a giant Nazi flag, he'd be like, he has like this giant case of Space Marines. They're so
and he's got the mecha Hitler from the original Wolfenstein.
Yeah, and he's got this such immaculately painted fucking Nazi Space Marines that are just like ridiculous in fucking glory. And he's like, who wants to fight my Chad white nationalist army here? It's like, okay, I'll take a shot. Like,
yeah.
I mean, fuck.
It's like you went through a lot of trouble for this joke.
Yeah, they look really good. I mean, how did you paint a swastika that good? Did you get like, those aren't stickers? How'd you do that? That had to take practice.
Bonus points if instead of stickers he actually has little fabric armbands.
Oh, dude, that would be like, man, that would be chef's kiss. I'd be like, Jesus fucking Christ, such attention to detail. Like, you are literally a detail Nazi. Wow.
You know, that would be interesting. Just go back to regular wargaming with actual fictional armies from different
No, you can't
periods.
have Nazis there either, Whiskey. It's a hate symbol.
Like hell you can't.
You can't have any Nazis in your World War II diorama.
Walking into that where it's like, no, you can't have the German Nazis in this battle. It's like, but it's the Battle of Stalingrad.
Oh my god.
It's like, no, you have to change those out. Don't you want to play like, here, take these Polish troops? It's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to like create a diorama of like when the Allies, captured Berlin. Kind of need Germans there. I would hope.
That's actually might be a good way to push SJWs out, is you go to literally World War II theater of wargaming.
Well, I mean, a good way to push them out would just be to tell them, fucking go, leave. This isn't for you.
I mean, because what you've picked is inherently antithetical to them.
No, because it doesn't matter. They're just going to make the fucking Allied black, brown, whatever, and then they're going to make they're going to either tone down the Nazis, or literally they're going to fucking superpose. They're going to, like, make the Nazi the biggest boogeyman ever. Right? Like, they're literally gonna make Nazis like 6-foot tall people who carry like Jewish lampshades in the battles to fight with, or something stupid like that. And then,
I mean, in a way, you're not making it sound worse.
It's like, seriously, it's like, oh yeah, we were killing so many Jews that we realized the bones of the Jews were actually like supercharged with natural energy, so we cast Shini curses on the Allies. And like, what are you even doing? And that does sound like something SJWs would do, because as we've seen, they keep adding super racist shit into their things, like the black woman firing at white people from a fried chicken van. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where's your diversity commissar? He should have a pistol to the back of your fucking head. Like, if we're gonna have diversity commissars, I swear to God, I'm just gonna kill one like James Bond and put on the outfit, and I'm just like, I'd be like, wait, did you just put a black woman in a fucking fried chicken car? You just hear the fucking gun cock? Change it.
To quote the black guy from Clerks, "Oh, baby, you can't taste the racism."
Yeah.
Chicken ain't racist.
It's like, if that's my way, if that's the way we get to take communists out, that's how we do it. Assume the commissar position. It's like, hey, guess what? You made a mistake. Guess what? Who's next in line?
Well, that's why inevitably the left always turns on themselves.
Yeah, so it's not like they would be like, oh wow, I guess Carl over there was really racist, being a black white supremacist who thinks black people should shoot from fried chicken vans. Put the Indian guy in there, and let's see if he can do it, right? He can barely speak English. He'll probably have a better run of it.
You haven't seen Bollywood, have you?
And he hasn't seen how many bullets I still have in the chamber.
We still need to watch Singham.
Oh, man.
But back on topic.
So the specific incident is thoroughly laid out in this post on the Spanish language blog El Descanso del Escriba. I probably butchered the fuck out of that, but whatever.
All I heard was El Descanso.
El Descanso.
Yeah, but I mean, the way I said it sounds like they're calling them a cunt.
To summarize, individual participating in an 800-player tournament. Remember, this guy, 1 out of 800 players. 1/800th of the crowd. Remember that. 1/800th of the crowd.
Almost a 1 in 1,000 victory. But that's so stupid because it's not a swastika. It's a fucking Celtic knot, which granted the swastika was based off of.
I think this right here, I think it's actually like a Spanish swastika or something like that. My
point is, though, it's not the actual Nazi symbol.
It's just a badge of swastikas arranged in a swastika. And this cross here, which I can't see enough of it to really identify it. So, and it's like, that's it? I mean, it kind of looks like he has like half an armband here. And it's like,
I'm I'm willing to guess whatever is actually on that. Like, if you could see it in person, it's not nearly as bad as they're claiming, and it's not the symbol they're claiming. It's like how people were claiming pull ropes were nooses.
So won an 800 player tournament in Talavera, Spain, regularly competes under a nickname obliquely referencing Adolf Hitler. I mean, dude, again, guy, look, you don't look white. I'm pretty sure Hitler wasn't on your side. Just gonna go ahead and say that. Gonna come out and say that.
Which really means if he's parodying all this stuff, he's just doing it to piss people off.
Yeah.
In which case, you're literally giving him what he wants.
You did it. Give him the trophy.
It's like how 4chan managed to get leftists to think the OK symbol was racist.
Oh my god. And dude, there were people during the Kyle Rittenhouse thing where they were like, look, he does the OK symbol, he's obviously a white supremacist. I'm just like, you are fucking idiots. God, how are people stupid?
It became, once people saw evidence that it was just bullshit and they're being made fun of, they went, well, it's used by racists to make fun of us, therefore it is a racist symbol. It's like, no, this is not how it works. Just because it's against you doesn't necessarily make it racist. Especially when you're putting black people in chicken trucks.
I mean, it's not even, I just can't come off of any of recent off the top of my head of things they've done, because they have. There was something, I think it was Cowboy Bebop remake. They did something, I can't remember right now. I was watching a Gundam video and they did something that was like, wow, obviously, it was Jet Black. Jet Black is black in the Cowboy Bebop thing. And at one point, a character literally says to him, "You're black. I own you." And like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Like, there are actual white supremacists that would have a less hot take if they were writing Cowboy Bebop. They would
have more tact.
Yeah.
If they were making it.
They would. Man, and the joke would be funnier and more subtle too. I know.
Dross.
I know.
At this point, Blazing Saddles was more subtle.
Yeah. Oh man, I want to quote that movie, but I can't because I'm white. Okay. He attended the event wearing multiple Nazi symbols. Multiple Nazi symbols.
I mean, technically, it's a symbol made of symbols. So
yeah, technically, it is a Nazi symbol made of multiple Nazi symbols. So I guess you have to give them technicality there.
But really, it's like I said, it's just the absolute most technical, boiled down of any nuanced take.
Well, remember, it's like Christmas. It's the accusation that counts, right?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Well, it was Christmas, it's the gift, it's the thought that counts when you forget to give someone a gift. In this instance, when you forget to actually do your job, it's the accusation that counts.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it doesn't matter if you had a hate symbol on, right? Again, like going back to the OK symbol, if they wanted to label you a fucking someone who was a fan of neo-Nazi politics or some shit, they would just do it anyway. It's not like they haven't painted people in the Warhammer community as neo-Nazis specifically based on association of people who are the farthest thing from it.
Well, or it's like what they've done with a few famous people where they'll be doing picture ops with people, photo ops, and you'll have some people who happen to be actual known white supremacists, and they're like, hey, can we get a picture? They'll take a picture, it'll get put up somewhere, and then people will be like, oh, you took a picture with these guys, why are you racist? It's like, I took a picture with thousands of people that day.
I'm just gonna go ahead on record and say I've been around some white supremacists that are actually fucking amazing people. They are the nicest, kindest people ever. right? And then you get around like someone who's a turbo communist, and they are literally the worst individual on the fucking planet. So I'm not ever gonna really exclude someone because they have Nazi symbols on their stuff, because it's not a good indicator of personality.
It just means their ideology is a little fucked.
And if I were to judge it that way, I would come off of it judging them pretty favorably above the alternative.
Well, at the very least, they're more tolerable than some of the woke people.
Yeah, well, I mean those are communists. They either don't know it yet, don't know what communism is, or are currently in a breadline.
Yeah, because communists want to kill everybody.
Yeah, even other communists. That's not even off the fucking table, right? It's like, oh shit, did you say that like we should have gulags? I just think we should exterminate people out in the field. Fight.
Pretty much.
Like
whoa. You have a theory that if we plant crops in the harshest environment possible, they'll get stronger and we'll have better yields? You're hired. Tell every farmer to do that.
I've also got the perfect fertilizer. I just had a disagreement with like 5 guys and I shot them dead, and we can use those for fertilizer. Because it's better for the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're super concerned about the environment, right?
Yeah, that's why we're not going to actually grow any food.
Yeah, because that would carbon footprint. Durr.
Yeah, people can't eat. They die. They can't breathe. Carbon footprint.
Think of how many CO2s we emit, whiskey, in the process of making a sweet corn.
And I'm reminded that Bill Gates is buying up farmland
while also advocating.
Have we stumbled upon the plan?
Well, yeah, in part. Because no communist is gonna buy farmland.
No, Dros, they'll buy it. They just won't be able to grow anything on it. No. Just like in Chaz.
No, they will not buy it because they're allergic to it because it's a flyover state. It's not a city.
Well, hang on. You missed a point, Dros. They won't buy it because they don't believe in money.
I feel like you could take a leftist from the city out into a field of corn, and they'd be like, man, you could have a city here. And like, yeah, you could, or you could be feeding everybody in a city.
Well, it's like Tim Pools pointed out. He'll talk to people, and they'll be like, he'll tell them, look, if there's no one to grow the food, where's the food gonna come from? Oh, well, you're dumb. You just pick it up at the grocery store.
Yeah, you're stupid. You're just there. Yeah. Oh, actually, I got an instance of this. Okay.
It reminds me so much of Seamus in that cartoon where he's like, hey, this guy who shot at Rittenhouse kind of looks like Voldemort.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, he does. The other guy's just like, I can't believe that worked.
So I was seeing this floating around on Twitter today, because I was posting my amazing tweet that got nothing, because I'm nobody. And it's like, so our cars got robbed this morning because Los Angeles is a crime-riddled third-world shithole of a city, but tremendous appreciation and gratitude to the hardworking officers of the LAPD West LA, who not only arrested the motherfucker, but they got all of our stolen goods back. This is Casey Neistat. This is a guy who once on YouTube made videos supporting Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I like the immediate following quote.
Dude, I've lived here for over 20 years. This is a Jew talking, by the way. Dude, I've lived here for over 20 years. You're nuts, haha. It's lovely here. Don't leave anything valuable in it. It's called living in a big city.
It's like, so you're admitting there's so much crime, you can't leave anything valuable anywhere. Oh, shit.
No, now I have to check something after the stream, actually. Because I have to check something about Casey after the stream. I have a feeling that maybe Casey is probably God's chosen too. I can still be mad, mad though, right?
What the fuck is it? So this other
It
person,
feels so violated.
no, the bottom.
Well, no, I like this here because I want to focus on this for a second. Please, Daddy, can I be mad at the people who broke in my car? Please? I feel violated. They took something personal from me.
You can be mad, but I guess I don't personally view my car as an extension of myself. And I've never really felt violated in any of the 15 or so times my car was broken into. Once a guy accidentally left a cool knife in my car, so it keeps happening. You might get a little treat.
Yeah.
It's like, this just sounds like Stockholm Syndrome. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
What,
like,
bro?
no,
you don't like
don't
it?
worry. After the 10th time, you just get used to it.
Yeah. You know, I once left my keys in my car. I'm still paying it off.
I'm still trying to find my keys
Yeah.
and my car.
Yeah, I'm still paying it off too. Like, what is this world? It's like, yeah, when you don't worry, bro. After you get broken into, it's just like I don't view my car as like my property, right? It's kind of just like a neighborhood bicycle, if you will. Like, just I was watching a video about a guy.
Look, here's the thing. If they think it's normal for people to just steal cars, then here's what I want them to do. I want them to walk down to the bad side of the town and find one of the cars that's actually left unlocked all the time and no one fucks with it. Steal that one. See how that goes. If you think it's perfectly fine and normal, why don't you go try it? It ain't gonna turn out like you want.
Yeah, I just love that he had to ask. Like, is it okay if I feel are my feelings of being broken into validated? And he's like, no, your feelings of being broken into and violated aren't valid because you should have been used to it, bro.
I mean, it's literally the argument in prison of I was raped in prison and I feel violated. And it's like, look.
Should have gone.
After the 5th time, you should have just been used to it and started enjoying
and
it.
really, honestly, by the fact that you haven't gotten used to it by now, kind of makes me suspect that you're not one of us.
Exactly. It's like, what? You've got Stockholm Syndrome and you can't even see it.
Yeah.
See, this is why when people would try and steal from my apartment building, they'd get shot. You know, theft goes down a lot when you just shoot the people trying to steal things.
Or
word gets around.
Or you don't do, I don't know, what California did, or was it California or just LA, where they legalized like theft under $1,000?
Oh, it's California.
Yeah,
it's California.
So that probably has like a large degree to do with it. I would imagine.
Well, I did like a solution. I forget where I heard it, where they said just add $1,000 to the price tag of everything, but you discount everything by $1,000 if you pay with cash or credit.
Yeah.
So technically, anything they steal is now prosecutable, and it's a felony.
I've watched some amazing videos of just like black people going into like supermarkets and just grabbing TVs on like fucking like pre-bought like those metal trolleys you go to Home Depot in.
Oh geez.
And just carrying away TVs and loading them in and shit. I'm just like, the fuck? Like, what a world. Like, how can you live in California at that point?
See, I'd be the guy that would shoot them, go to court, and then say, Your Honor, he was threatening my life. And they'd ask how. And I said, look, if I can't feed myself by working at my business, I will die. Therefore, he was threatening my life.
So, like, I felt like this played into what you were saying, right? Or
it's, you know, having lived in LA before it was this bad, like it was bad, but it wasn't this bad. It's just kind of sad to see it descending further and further.
Yeah. I mean, it's in full free fall now.
Because, like, back when I was there, there was still a couple little redeeming points here and there. But now it's like,
I guess you could say that for all the
fuck.
cities, right? I mean, except for like a few that were always bad.
Yeah, but I never really lived in the other cities. So this one I can see firsthand. And like knowing how it used to be even before I was born. Because I've seen some pictures from like, I think is like the early or mid 1800s, how the area I was in looked. It was actually incredibly nice. And it's just like every year it just kept getting a little worse.
Yeah.
Also, just so you know, I did throw those links in the Discord with my laptop.
Yeah, I see them.
Okay. So pull them up whenever you feel like it.
Okay. This next thing here, like, he attended the event wearing multiple Nazi symbols, including the logo of the 13th Panzer Division. I guess that's what that cross is, which committed numerous atrocities in Poland during World War II. Any participants who refused to play against him were penalized by the tournament organizers. Again, going back, what, you don't want to fight against Nazis like your grandpa, bro? What a pussy. Deducting points.
I like to think that was his strategy. He just wanted to piss people off so they'd forfeit.
I mean, there are like a subset of Europeans that are kind of base because they went through World War II or they're not entirely stupid. And then they go, yeah, actually, dude, if we fought against the Nazis and you're trying to say you want to walk away from it, what does that say? I think that says more about you than it does him.
Like, yeah, I mean, it would be one thing if you were like, I don't want to play as one.
Yeah.
But being like, I don't want to fight them like we historically did.
Wow.
It just, what?
We found the one instance in which extra credits is opinion about Nazism is actually validated.
No, it isn't, because you're not playing as one, like, and being forced to.
I'm just saying, in this instance, he would be right?
No, this is the reverse of his argument, where it'd be like, you didn't sign up for playing the Allies and fighting against Nazis.
Well, I was talking about our hypothetical there, but yeah. Where you have to act, where like actual like being forced to play as a Nazi is actually bad in comparison to have to playing against a Nazi.
Well, I mean, in this specific context, I would say being forced to play any particular force of Warhammer is kind of stupid and bad. Like, it'd be like going to a tournament and being told, oh, the only army you're allowed to play here is specifically like this one chapter of Space Marines.
Let's go! Fucking chapter supremacy battle. Let's go. We're purity spiraling all the way to the end, boys. Let's go!
But you get what I mean.
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh, it doesn't matter that you brought your tournament ready army. It's like, you can't use that here. Use this pre-made one.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I think that they're before we even get to it, like they're making a big deal out of something stupid, but this is Game Workshop MO, so. Here, this is the part that hits my ribs and makes me chuckle. Neo-Nazis co-opting and infiltrating subcultures is a long-standing issue. And the author wrote without a hint of sarcasm.
I mean, just replace neo-Nazi with communists. He just, he had it right. He just, he got the wrong group.
The Dead Kennedys delivered an eloquent response to their presence in the punk scene in 1981, and subsets of the heavy community have remained a haven for neo-Nazis and their like. You're bringing up something that happened in the 80s, dude. That was 30 fucking years ago.
Well, I mean, yeah, but they also bring up shit that happened in, like, the 1800s to justify their actions now.
like, yeah, neo-Nazis and stuff have been into heavy metal and shit. Yeah. But, I mean, that's because neo-Nazis generally tend to be white. Like,
Look, heavy metal kicks ass.
yeah.
I can't fault anyone for being into it.
I mean, it's just one of those, like, I don't know what the purpose of that is, to be like, oh, heavy metal has neo-Nazis in it. Like,
look, it's just
why?
their Puritan movement, but for socialists.
That's such a weird, let's go off into a weird side point. Like, what does the dead Kennedys have to do with Warhammer? Right? And you're like, war game.
Look, Dross, he only fields the dead Kennedy chapter of Space Marines.
Explains why I've never heard of them. Wargaming has struggled with this issue from its very earliest days. Oh, here we go, Whiskey. Here we go. Wargaming has struggled with this issue from its very earliest days, with players all the way back in the 60s suspiciously favoring one side in World War II games, and founding magazines with names like Fourth Reich. This is not the first time this issue has come up with regards to Warhammer itself. Would you like to respond to your wargaming? We should go back to World War II wargaming comment earlier.
But they clearly don't like it, so they'll probably stay out of it. And the hilarious thing about it is, Germany kind of did have a technological lead in a lot of ways. So when you're talking about wargaming, like, if you wanted to put tanks on the battlefield, some of the German tanks were the best there was. So if you're a tank guy, you might want to choose Germany to use their tanks. Like, there's actually strategic reasons why you would pick different, forces from World War II when gaming.
Look, when you're gaming in a World War II wargaming session, anyone's better than the French.
They did have that one portion of their Air Force that kept operating, though.
Wow, man. Ooh, holy crap. One portion of your Air Force? Wow, man.
Well, except they were apparently actually like a pretty deadly force.
I mean, hats off to them, but everybody else on the ground was bent over. So I can't help.
Like, I'm not saying it redeems their whole surrendering, but
it's like, wow, you guys, you're really fighting for us out there in the air. We surrendered on the ground, though, right?
You know what? I just have to say it takes a lot of determination to keep fighting after your country's already surrendered.
No, I mean, I agree. Like, hats off to them. It's just
the rest of you cowards on the other hand.
The meme of World War II, it's like, yeah, the French are not exactly known or remembered as a side you would ever really want to play.
Look, they surrendered to Germany twice.
You don't want to play like French, the Polish, right? Like, probably not.
I mean, it depends on the scenario. It could be fun to try and actually win with tactics as the Polish.
Yeah. I mean,
because in a wargaming situation, the other side only has so many troops.
I can see if you're a contrarian, you're like, fuck this, I'm gonna beat the Germans with the French.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a really good player, you can do that kind of shit, and it's probably fun to do.
Okay, Warhammer 40k, much like these war games of old, trying to tie it back, is uniquely vulnerable to this potential co-opting by hateful groups due to the nature of its fiction. 40k presents a setting that is deliberately and almost playfully absurd and grim, with much of its fantasy centering on a far future Imperium of Man, where life may be nasty, brutish, and short, but at least it looks like heavy metal album art. 40k's unwanted neo-Nazi fan base seems to either miss or just not care that their fictional setting of choice is deliberately mocking them. Except that it's fucking not.
Yeah, A, it's not mocking them. B, you're assuming they're all neo-Nazis, which just isn't true.
It's like, show me
Like,
where Warhammer.
I mean, granted, there's probably a couple in there, right?
Like, other than some of the really dumb writers that GW has in the Black Library that want to write like about like brown girls being like, I think it was like being assaulted or something and then never being hurt again because he learned his lesson, and some other really stupid fucking takes from just people in the writing team for some of the writers they have. It's like, yeah, I don't really see how 40K mocks anybody. Like, the 40K doesn't do that. Like, for example, right, when I watch Hell's Reach, if I go and I bring up Hell's Reach, right, Hell's Reach doesn't mock anybody. Hell's Reach, like, puts everybody on a fucking pedestal, right? Because they're dying to the orcs. It's the last stand of that city for just about everyone involved. Like, I've never really seen a thing that's mocked anybody in 40K at all.
Yeah.
Except for, actually, I'll take that back. Primaris Marines mock the general intelligence of the fan base, and just the actual writing does too. Because there's times where the Primaris Marines, like in the current Guilliman fanfic novels they have as canon, like there's Primaris Marines and they're like, I'm so totally better than all the other normie Marines because I'm a Primaris Marine and I can't be corrupted by chaos because I'm a Primaris Marine. My armor's better than theirs because I'm a Primaris Marine, and I was given Guilliman special privilege gear that lets me be better than everybody else.
You know what the Primaris Marines make me think?
What's that?
That we should introduce AI into Warhammer again.
It would be an interesting faction, right? I mean,
I mean, just so that they'd wipe everything out.
I mean, that's what the Tyranid are for, right? They just, yeah.
Actually, that would be an interesting way to fight the Tyranid. Like, you've got some of the code for the AI stored somewhere and you decide to unleash it on them.
Yeah.
But because it still has a lot of the information it did before, its technology is far more superior than anything the Imperium has.
And that this could be the case. This could actually happen to a degree. And it would just be a battle of essentially hive minds.
Yeah. Well, and of course that one planet where the orcs are fighting Tyranids endlessly.
Yeah, well, the orcs ended up winning out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was depressing for me.
That's pretty impressive that the orcs overcame that.
Yeah, yeah, because the Tyranids have to always lose. Like, the problem with Tyranids are bad writing. Because, like, even though I love them, and I mean, I literally, like, hug them in my dreams at night, but, like, they're bad writing, I have to agree, because they're a faction that you only introduce at the end. Right? They're the faction that there's only two ways the Tyranid ends. Is you either fight them off, at least with a good story. You either fight them off while literally everyone has to band together for a moment and fight the Tyranid off, right? Or the Tyranid win and everyone dies.
I mean, or you could just create something roughly equally as powerful and have them locked in combat for centuries.
Yeah, but that's not good storytelling. When you have to make up a whole faction to deal with this faction that you made up to come in,
well,
they might as well not.
Kind of like what I said with the AI, though, is what I was thinking.
Yeah, but still, that would...
Because AI could be programmed specifically to... actually, the AI would probably win because it's got no biomass.
The point here with that is that you're using a Deus Ex Machina, and that AI isn't something that's easily came across in Warhammer's universe. Like, it would have to be, you would have to make up a planet, right? The Deus Ex Machina is off the charts. Because the Tyranids are already made up, right? They're already a made-up Deus Ex Machina. Because they're coming in from the fringes of space because of a beacon. So they're coming from an unknown galaxy. They're literally Deus Ex Machina into the universe and attacking it from, like, the underside. So you would have to Deus Ex Machina a planet. Then you have Deus Ex Machina AI. Then you have to Deus Ex Machina why it hasn't been murdered yet, because it's again against imperial law to have AI of any kind, and that's not something you can just hide. And yeah, you just have to go layer, and then the Deus Ex Machinas have to fight each other out to either nullify each other or have one Deus Ex Machina win and then just go away.
Well, I was thinking more like if the AI won, it would then be the next large threat.
Yeah, but then you've basically not done anything though. Like you've just swapped out the Tyranids for AI enemies. I mean,
Well, you've bought time to do other stuff.
no, you haven't, because computers are faster than Tyranids. If it beat the Tyranids, what hope do you have? Like, it literally swatted off the biggest faction in Warhammer
Fair
history
point.
single-handedly.
Well, see, my thoughts are the reason it could do it single-handedly is there's no biomass for them to acquire when they fight against AI and robots.
Also, think about it like this. An AI could just turn off a Space Marine suit. Like, it's not
that'd be so fun.
It's not unfeasible to think that the AI would be like, oh, there's this like specific frequency I can just project that either short circuits a essential part or just fucks up with the electronics entirely, and they're all just stuck there now.
Okay, so I've got it. You use the AI and you use the Tyranid to basically destroy Warhammer in its current state, and you rebuild it without all the woke shit.
Please no. Like, all I want, like, what I want, realistically, all I want is them to like be like, oh, everything with Primaris Marines. Like, what I would do is I would nerf Primaris Marines. Like, I would make it to where they indeed can be corruptible, right? Like, I'm kind of stuck whether you do it like you basically make all the Primaris Marines a cursed founding, or you just make it to where you nerf them to where they're just like slightly better Space Marines. They're slightly super mutants, right? Like, and it's just like this thing that you upgrade Space Marines. It doesn't change their personality. It doesn't fucking do any of that gay shit. It just gives them, it lets them be a little bit stronger to deal with what they're currently dealing with the Tyranid and the Necrons and the Eldar and the fucking Drukhari.
Hell, you could still have them somewhat more resistant to chaos.
Yeah. Like, you can have, like,
just not immune to it.
Well, the way I would do it is, if you were a old school Marine and you went through the Primaris transition, you should indeed be damn near incorruptible. Because, like, I would keep that they said that like the Primaris transition rate had like a large risk and you could die, even though no one really fucking died from it. Right, I would use this as a chance to kill off characters that are getting old, like Calgar. Right, I would kill off Calgar in the fucking surgery. Right, because with Goleman back, Calgar is just gonna go chaos now, or he's just gonna be unimportant. And I would like, just like super old loyalist Marines. Right? Like, all the old Marines would get a lot more respect and shit like that. Like, you would just, like, give them the upgrade they needed for a new model and stuff like that, instead of doing all Marines this way.
Yeah.
And then, like, if I do the Cursed Founding thing, I would have all the Primaris immediately collapse into chaos. Like, basically make it where Primaris Marines all are doomed to chaos because it was some Tzeentchian plot or something. And they all basically have a random number over their head on when they're gonna turn.
I mean, you could have it so they all turn simultaneously. And they're just unaware of it.
Well, that would be a thing. It's like, because chaos stuff is so insidious, you would never really know. I would leave that into, like, the inner workings of it. Because it's better to have, like, enemies, to have the suspense of an enemy who's going to turn against you than the direct actual conflict.
Yeah, that's true.
That, in my mind, it's just better storytelling to have to wonder, is this guy with me gonna turn on me while I'm
Like
doing
The
something
Thing.
critical? Yeah. That's also my bias showing for The Thing, yeah. And that's how I view chaos corruption to be too. Chaos should be something that is insidious. It is hard to fight. It's something that when a commissar like takes out a gun and randomly shoots somebody and he says they were a chaos cultist, you basically you have to believe him.
Well, yeah, but let's be honest, who's gonna tell the commissar he's full of shit?
Well, Space Marine can.
Yeah, but in general, probably not gonna happen very often.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to care. But yeah, because the commissar is only in charge of guard. So he's not in charge of Space Marines.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, like, and even then, there's a whole bit of storytelling that rely on that too. Like, 'cause I've seen stories of like a commissar who's been corrupted and basically killing who he thinks are heretics. And even then, by the end of the story, there's still like some like subjective thing, like, or were they actually heretics and he's going crazy, like from the heretics, or is he crazy and seeing heretics?
Yeah.
And that's just better storytelling for me. Like the way they're doing it now, they're just taking a literal Warhammer and hitting Warhammer, and it's not great results. Let's see. Games Workshop chose to clarify this was a satirical fiction in its statement, asserting that the Imperium of Man stands as a cautionary tale of what could happen should the very worst of humanity's lust for power and extreme, unyielding xenophobia set in. This is an admirable statement of purpose by Games Workshop, and its intent is nicely backed up by a concrete zero tolerance policy. While the post doesn't explicitly call out Nazis or fascists, of course, it does spell out consequences for any form of prejudice, hatred, or abuse in our company or in the Warhammer hobby. Hold on. Do I have a alt window up here? I want to see. Sig Marxism. Here we go. Real quick. This is a communist subreddit for Warhammer.
That's so stupid.
That's allowed to exist, by the way. Because it's not
shouldn't.
It's not a 40k or God damn it, my brain just got hijacked. Damn communist. It's not a hate group. Sorry. My brain totally went like to 20 IQ upon seeing this here. It's like, yeah. And bring back
just reading that, it's such bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not heavy into Warhammer and I can tell it's bullshit.
Guys. You know how you could fix the Warhammer? Bring out a whole new faction that could replace the Imperium that's diverse. It's full of brownies, and it can, like, do everything. It's better than the Eldar, but it's okay. They accept the Eldar. It's better than the Necron. It's okay, though. They're gonna help them get their bodies back. Even the Tyranids are welcome. We'll have a planet for them. It's like...
Did you see the,
Just fucking kill me.
Did you see the browser add-on that colors, text based off of what leftists think of the people, like colors your name on Twitter?
No.
Yeah, basically the more anti-woke you are, the redder your name gets until it's like a blood red. And then going in the other direction, it makes it green so that they can see who's like woke friendly.
At a glance.
Yeah, and I left a comment on the video going through this. I said, wow, this is a great add-on. It highlights not only creators I like, but creators I might be interested in.
Yeah.
we should adopt it.
Yeah, because I mean, you know what? Because what that gauge actually represents. If you're red, you're base as fuck. I need to go check out your content. If you're green,
Yeah.
you're shit. I need to stay the fuck away from you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And so apparently they were getting, like, there were posts, people getting pissed off that other people found this and were starting to use it like that.
I can imagine someone posting on the developer comments or something like that. Hey guys, I loved your app. It was very useful. I kind of wondered. I think you got like the colors mixed up. All the green people.
It's open source on GitHub too, so anyone can just take it and use it.
Oh, okay. Because I can imagine it actually being like an app or something and being like, oh yeah, you have like the colors swapped or something. Like all the green people are like faggots and all the red people are really cool people. Like, you probably should work on that. It's a really weird gauge system you got going on there. And there's like seething. Like, yeah.
It's amazing. I forget. I think it might have been Muda that went through it. So you might want to look through his videos when we're done here, because it's kind of entertaining just to see how it works.
Yeah,
and it's funny, they'll create stuff for them that then gets repurposed for, us. It's like how they were all getting pissed off that people on the right started using Signal to encrypt communications. Or how people started using the Fediverse and are like, this isn't for you, get out. And they're like, no. Also, you made it so people can't get kicked off, so screw you.
Yeah, hey. Good idea. Maybe you should have not done that. Like, that's such an awfully...
No, the correct answer should have been, no, we're here to stay, and because this isn't an inclusive space, if you don't like it, maybe you should build your own.
But like, I lost my train of thought because my brain's crossing wires with what I want to say about this article and stupid shit.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Just, man, how the world's so crazy now. How do you even navigate through it anymore?
Well, they have a handy app that shows you the color.
Hey, God damn it. Not like that. Okay, so everything else in that article was going to be covered in this. So, I got some qualms with this. Okay, so the Imperium is driven by hate. Warhammer is not. Except that there are a lot of instances in which Warhammer is actually directly fueled by hate. Like hate of your product, hate of characters in the series, but I mean, hate's not that bad of a thing. We're on the HateCast, so we would know.
I support hate.
Like, hate is a thing that, exists for a reason. People don't just hate for no reason. There's usually a reason for it.
A good point.
Right? There's like, people like to go bring out this like mythical racist who's like, I hate brown people because my taxes go up. Or something stupid. It's like, yeah, well, most people have pretty good reason why, if they're like that, why they don't like that. But I mean, it's not like you're trying to invalidate their personal experiences or anything. And it's not even like, oh, it's like the song, everyone's a little bit racist. Not everyone's like small time racist. They make like these little small racial calls that are like, oh yeah, man, if I'm a teacher, I have a bunch of black students, at least 5 of them are going to be late. And it's going to be the start of the morning.
Well, I think it also gets confused when people are using the best information they have to make a judgment. Even if that information is just a stereotype, it's the best information they have on hand.
Yeah, I mean,
if you don't want them to do it, give them better information right then that they can use.
But that's what these people have done. They basically equated like thinking racially at all, right? At all, even if it's just like small, little, insignificant
Except that
things.
if you don't think of everything in race, you're also racist.
Yeah, because that communism and consistency, not the best of bedfellows, right? You've gotta you've gotta decode your racial view on the world and then recode it in the way that we see the world, which is alarmingly more racist.
Yeah, very much so more racist.
Because, like, again, going back to, like, the song, it's like, it's not like it used to be, oh, not who to buy a newspaper from or who to hire or who to fire. It's like little small things, like expecting a Mexican busboy to speak some goddamn English, right? It's like that, like small little things, like, hey, if you come into the country, you should probably speak the language. You wouldn't go to, like, Japan and not speak Japanese if you were trying to get citizenship there.
Yeah.
That would be incredibly rude.
Oh yeah, and the Japanese would think it would be incredibly rude too. It's not like it's rude by our standards.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you'll see that shit flip on you real quick. And so they've turned every little thing into, like, this, it's basically the N-word. So, I mean, that's the point we're at now, where if you even if you just admit reality, it doesn't even have to be racially driven. Look at the Kyle Rittenhouse shit, right?
Well, yeah.
I watched people have, like, a bunch of black people have super hot takes, like, this is why all the judge should be black, and white supremacy is, like, an all white court case, and it's like,
or
what
how,
the fuck?
I think it was CNN that said, oh yeah, he shot 3 black men. It's like,
No,
not one of them were black. There was no racism.
Two of them were Jewish.
It's like, really? Are you that dumb? And then people believed it. And they're like, oh, well, this is clearly a racist attack. It's like, no one was black. It's a really weird way to show you're racist, by killing people who aren't a race that you're racist against. I fucking can't. People are too stupid. We need to remove the warning labels off of everything and let the culling begin.
Yeah, that would go a long way, right? You don't actually have to fucking, oh dear God. Yeah, see, Whiskey, you're right. I already got the perfect plan based on what you just said. Right here, right? Here we go. This will take out every leftist in America overnight. Just take a warning label off.
Yep. Yeah.
Boom. Done.
I like that. This looks like a wine box. Have they learned nothing from the Tide Pod?
Boom. We'll call it CommuCure.
Oh, shit.
Make it red and you'll be better off dead.
But no, it's true. If you let the stupid people kill themselves by doing stupid things, and you don't protect them from themselves, they won't have children whom they'll teach to be stupid.
It's great. Which, to be fair, let's go be honest. If you poll the birth rate among communists, it's probably not high. They're doing that work for us, so don't.
Well, yeah, because the environment.
Yeah, of course, the environment. Yeah, I didn't have kids because of the environment. It has nothing to do on 400 pounds, right?
There's a video we need to watch when we're done with the stream. It's called The 5 Laws of Stupidity.
I've probably done all of them, but let's... Yeah. There are no goodies in the Warhammer 40k universe. Listen to that wording, too. There are no goodies. Like... What? Who talks like
I know
this?
what they're trying to say, but it would sound better if you just said there are no good guys.
Also,
they probably didn't, because someone in the staff room would be like, "Oh, so you're not going to mention women?"
Also, I'm gonna take some umbrage with this shit. Sigismund is in fact a fucking goodie in 40k.
Yeah, he is. They should bring him back.
Fuck that. Yeah. Fuck. Like, if you're gonna resurrect someone, resurrect the Chad fucking Sigismund. Fuck Gilliman. Like, Sigismund could have picked up the Emperor's sword and actually done something with it. Gilliman almost died with it. Like, Sigismund would be like, alright, I was killing bitches with my normal one. This is just fucking great. Now I get to perma-kill demons. Yeah, let's go into the warp for a minute.
Yeah, he wasn't even a full-on space marine, was he?
Yeah. He was one of Rogel's boys.
Because I know we watched that lore video about him.
But he wasn't Primaris. He never got Primaris.
Gotcha. Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, he was like, man, Sigismund was great. Fucking ultra Chad. You really cannot get better than Sigismund. Right? Like, holy fuck. So there are goodies, right?
Well, he was basically the ultimate white knight, not in the
gay sense. In the
yeah.
actual fucking I am the protector of the universe type way.
Yeah. The same kind of white knight like the original Superman was, you know?
Yeah, I'm as strong as
I stand for justice and all that is right, and I'm here to defend it.
You know, the type of person that would, like, cut people down if they were looting a Nike store. Maybe.
Can we just get, like, a CGI, like, deep fake of Sigismund cutting people down who are looting from Nike?
No, they wouldn't even go near that fucking Nike store. It's like, there was no robbery this day. It's like, oh shit, I'm not going near that one.
Shit.
It's like, dude, you know he's hired by Nike. He's got black and white armor, though.
Damn. You know, some of these large chain stores are just pulling out of certain cities, too.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you know, have fun when you don't have any grocery stores.
What,
left.
Whiskey? You mean when I rob $1,000 from you every week, you're not gonna you're not gonna stay in my neighborhood? You fucking racist!
No, I'm not gonna.
We're a minority-based community. How dare you leave? How else am I gonna get my fried chicken at 12 p.m.?
Look, I'm gonna quote George Washington here about Americans. The thing that sets us apart from the rest of the world is we would rather die on our feet than live on our knees. So I will die on my feet protecting my property before I live on my knees.
See, the fun thing about communists is they die on their knees.
No, Dross. They also die, you know, in front of mass graves.
But yeah, like, also, as far as, like, goodies, there's actually, like, that elf that's trying to bring back the elf god of death and bring back all the other elves so he can rebirth his entire fucking race. How is that not good? Like, what, it was bringing your entire race back to life fascistic now?
But we know the way he's gonna do it.
What? How?
Look. No, it's the same way. It's the same way they created Slaanesh to begin with.
Oh no, he's a Puritan. He's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's got crystal bones. He can't bone.
Crystal bones.
Yeah, no. Apparently, if an elf in the 40K universe is live long enough, their fucking bones start to crystallize.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's some real shit.
Are the bones more valuable crystallized?
I don't know. They haven't taken them from him.
I can see people hunting elves for their crystallized bones.
Oh, they have
to sell them on the black market.
Look. If we're hunting elves, right? They're not living long enough to have any bones crystallized.
Well, you have to raise them long enough like cattle, Dross.
Well, see, but that's the problem, though, right? Like, you're... Like, oh, man, it reminds me of Interspecies Reviewer, where it's like, you don't want... Yeah, I would get with an elf chick, but then they're usually, like, 600 years old, and who wants a woman around for that long? It's like, damn. Like that, you got that problem, right? She's literally gonna outlive you, or whatever you fancy, whatever gendered elf. I'm sure they have a fucking rainbow. You know,
Look, I'm not talking about breeding them. I'm talking about waiting till they're old, clubbing them over the head, and then skinning everything off their bones to sell on the black market.
But that's wildly inefficient, though. You want them to bone to make other elves so you can keep the fucking generations of How are you going to maintain your planet's tithe? See, this is why you can't be a planetary governor.
No, Dros, what you're not realizing is once they're all gone, it's even more valuable because you can't get any more.
Motherfucker, I'm not Nvidia. I'm not trying to, like, reduce fucking shortage during a goddamn crisis. I need to flood the market right now with cheap Wraithbone.
See, you're thinking too much like the Administratum and not enough like a merchant.
No, I'm exactly thinking like the merchant class. Fucking do it now. Sell those motherfuckers. Get them on a farm. We're gonna get a process. Fuck, I might even hire like space marines that like excommunicated from their chapters. It's like, hey, you live like 300 years or some shit. Here, watch this elf girl here.
That could be a fun space marine chapter, the Excommunicatus. It's just a chapter of excommunicated space marines that work as mercenaries.
There's once a time I would murder all of these elf girls in the blink of an eye, and now I have to watch them bone each other. But
strangely, I'm not opposed to this.
The Emperor has truly abandoned me.
Shit. So where the hell were we?
Talking about goodies in the 40k universe. We're still at the first.
That's right.
Especially not in the Imperial Man. Its numberless legions of soldiers and zealots bludgeon their way across the galaxy, delivering death to anyone and anything that doesn't adhere to their blinkered view of purity. Yeah.
Except that the different chapters all have different ideas of purity.
Yeah, like, except you have the fucking salamanders, who literally... they cost their own reputation to other chapters to save individuals, like human individuals. Oh yeah, but I guess saving the hostages is a fucking fascistic action now.
Well, look, Dros, if you want to reduce your carbon footprint, you just let them die.
Almost every man and woman tolls in misery either on the battlefield, where survival is measured in hours, or in the countless manufactorums and hive slums that fuel the imperial war machine. All of this in a slavish servitude to the living corpse of a god emperor, whose commandments are at best only half remembered, twisted by time and the fallibility of humanity. Like, so I was watching Ark, because Ark did this. Like, this is literally, to quote him, or Kibbs, can't remember which one said exactly, this is the chaos narrative. This is like Abaddon perching up and being like, oh, they're fucking hateful. They're just haters who purge everyone who's not like them. It's like, don't you have a tentacle growing out your right butt cheek right now?
It's like, look.
Yeah.
A doctor's gonna look at that next week. Just, ignore it.
What about that Celestial demon you were like on top of just 5 minutes ago? Like, you've done an awful lot of this. You don't exactly seem like the type of person I'd want to have in the Imperium. There's a reason why we have laws against you. It's not because we're fascistic, it's because we're reasonable. Don't mistake the two.
But you see, if someone wasn't around to break the laws, how would you know the laws existed?
Because they're written on paper. Like parchment, literally. And we have
parchment is heresy.
And we literally have people walking around in robes that do nothing but study very specific sections of the law, so we can bring them in to give us the entire context in which that can be applied. So that's how we know the law.
Yeah, this just sounds like a dumb take here to me.
Yeah. The Imperium of Man stands as a cautionary tale of what could happen should the very worst of humanity's lust for power and extreme, unyielding xenophobia set in. Like so many aspects of Warhammer 40k, the Imperium of Man is satirical. I mean...
I'm not 100% sure on that one.
For clarity, satire, because we think you're retarded. For clarity, satire is for the use of humor, irony, or exaggeration displaying people's vices or system's flaws for scorn, derision, and ridicule. Something has to be wacky or laugh out loud funny to be satire. That's funny because satire usually is fucking funny, and I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that's
like
kind of the point of satire.
even the grimmest satire usually has like a lot of dark humor to it. Warhammer isn't
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
got a punchline somewhere. That's the fucking point.
I mean, there are some points where Warhammer has like that satire where like a commissar just puts a bullet in the back of a guard's head because they were just like even slightly out of eyesight for like more than 5 seconds, right? So there are times, sure, but that I don't feel like that's still all of Warhammer's. I know this is like you're debating the creators, but the creators are fucking dumb right now. They've obviously can't speak. They've obviously lost the plot, right? Like when you like if you
honestly, they're probably not the same people writing this that started out writing this.
Yeah.
So
the derision is in the settings amplification of a tyrannical genocidal regime turned up to 11. I mean, I would have been like turned up to like fucking 20 at that point. Because Warhammer's a little extreme.
At one point, though, weren't they not so genocidal to the other races?
Yeah, before the collapse of humanity, the first time.
So I mean, they're going through a dark spot, but it's not like they're inherently evil.
Yeah, I mean, you're going through a dark spot, you know, like the last, I don't know, fucking 20,000, 30,000 years.
Well, I mean, they've also got tons of lost technology and all this other shit. So it's basically like the Dark Ages.
Look, if you lived in the Warhammer universe and you found an abandoned ship on a planet whose name you can barely fucking remember because it's from like ancient Greece, and you walked onto the ship and it started spitting tongues at you and calling you a fucking idiot because you wave around sensors and have scented candles burning inside of it, because it woke up from a time when humans were actually reasonable and tech-based, you'd probably kill it too. Fuck you.
I mean, I wouldn't have candles and shit burning in it to begin with.
Yes, you would, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be on this mission, Whiskey, because you'd be a fucking neophyte.
Hey. You said if I found a ship, not if I and the Imperium found
No, we're assuming that you're the Imperium, okay?
Wait, I can't be the whole Imperium.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Well, see, in that case, I'm the fucking Emperor, and whatever I say goes. And if I say no fucking candles,
well,
then there ain't gonna be candles. Well, and if there are, it's heresy.
Well, guess what? You're on the golden throne and can't speak, except through like mind blasts that kill people. So good luck getting that one through.
Fuck it. Anyone who puts a candle anywhere on one of the warships gets mind blasted from now on.
Now you know why in Texas speech he just psychically punches people. Yeah. But it's like, okay, imagine there's an elf, okay? An elf who has like a gun about the size of your finger, like a finger gun, right? And if it shoots it at any point, the blades molecularly rip you apart in nanoseconds.
Well, at least it sounds like it's a relatively painless death.
Yeah. Imagine this. This is a standard issue thing that every dark elf has. And they're known for taking human slaves and torturing them and drinking their pain and anguish as a way to prolong their life. I don't care how much of a, what's the quote here? Extreme unyielding xenophobe you are. If you stop that motherfucker in the ground, you're a hero.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of Warhammer is just various factions that their ideology and way of life is so incompatible, they can only fight until there's only one.
Yeah.
Because what communists don't seem to realize is, there are ways of life that are antithetical to each other, like communism and anything else.
Or like Necrons to anything else.
Yeah.
They literally are like, hey, we are murder death robots. If you fucking come near us or on a planet we wake up on, kiss your ass goodbye.
Also, we're going to cut off all access to the warp and you're going to go insane.
Yeah, or at best insane, or at worst, you're literally just gonna be a fucking zombie from that point on. Like, you can't even teleport out because it cuts off your primary mode of transportation. Like, the extremes that the Imperium man go against.
I do really like the Necron, by the way.
Yeah, like, I mean, they're not bad. They're fucking...
They're my favorite army in the game.
Yeah, like, Necron are fucking badass. Like, just watching a Necron just casually graze a guardsman with a green beam and that motherfucker's dust now. It's just like, wow. You feel the threat there. This is why people are the way they are in 40k. And I imagine that you're probably going to have people who are racist in 40k because they all come from different worlds. Like,
and every other non-human race they've met wants to murder them.
Like, literally a Terran is treated better than most people, unless you're on Chaos, then you're treated the worst. Right? Because you're an original Earth guy. Right? That makes you racially better than everybody else. Because you have to live on the original planet. The planet that the Corpse Emperor is on.
Yeah, I always imagined, even not knowing a lot of the lore, that Terra probably was pretty nice compared to most of the other planets.
Okay, I need to somewhat hurry this up so I can get to your two articles.
Yeah, you can rant a bit when it comes to Warhammer.
Because it's fucking...
But it's been interesting, though. It's been a good conversation.
Just all this makes me so pissed. Oh my god. And they write this like a fucking... just the faggiest motherfucker. Warhammer 40k isn't just grimdark. It's the grimmest, darkest. God, it's literally like a fanfic faggots writing just to just satiate some like power trip they have. It's like, no, my universe isn't like it isn't grimdark. It's the grimmest, darkest universe. You just wouldn't understand.
Well, you see Dross.
I'm so black, I'm blacker than the blackest black times infinity.
There was a guy who was going over some of the Elder Scrolls lore, and he was basically saying, look, one of the problems we have in the community is people who will say things are canon when really it's just their head canon and what they choose to believe is accurate. And it seems kind of like what this person's doing. It's like retconning things in your own mind to be the way you want it to be. And then trying to superimpose your version of things on everyone else.
Yeah, the Imperium is not an inspirational state, outside of the in-universe perspectives of those who are slaves to its systems. Really. It's a monstrous civilization, and its monstrousness is plain for all to see. That said, certain real-world hate groups, adherent of historical ideologies better left in the past, I wonder what those are, seek to claim intellectual properties for their own enjoyment. God forbid someone who you don't agree with enjoys a product that you produce.
He's right, though. The communists do that.
Yeah, but I mean, realistically, if, like, okay, you know what communists also enjoy? Air. They use air to fuel their life. I'm not ready to set the fucking planet on fire at the cost of me, right, just to kill communists.
You don't have to, Dross.
And it's like, and you shouldn't be looking...
take their air away.
You shouldn't be looking to exclude people based on ideology alone, Because again, it's not even the fact that someone's communism that's a problem. If you are a communist and you shut the fuck up about it for 5 fucking minutes, doesn't fucking matter. The problem is you don't. You wear it on your shoulder. You spout slogans by politicians. You make everything political while so claiming that it's not. Like, oh, it's not political. Black and brown people being in this place that they've never been into before because of my own ideology, that's not political, bro. But you wanting to keep things the way they are, that's political. You're trying to keep people out.
And again, I will point out gatekeeping a community is important. You want to keep the riffraff out of your hobby. The people that will ruin it.
It's like
the communists.
It's like the Nazis of the fucking Warhammer community are better than the communists because at least they came in and enjoyed the fucking game and didn't try to change it. By far. It's just like, hey, I'm just gonna wear a Nazi jacket. Okay. Whatever. That's the worst you're doing? Oh my god.
At least they're being honest about it, unlike the communists trying to hide their colors.
It's just, it's so blatant, right? Because it's like, oh god, this fucking Nazi came in wearing a fucking swastika and he sat down and played a game like you're supposed to without ever, like, espousing his ideology or making a big deal about it. We need to get him out of here because we need more hammer and sickle jacket communists who talk about the ills of communism while playing a game that you have to pay $60 for 5 minis for. Okay. Whatever. We said it before, but a reminder about what we believe in. We believe in and support a community united by shared values of mutual kindness and respect. Again, Marxism, witch hunting, talking shit about people on the Games Workshop team, all of that. Way more malicious than anybody I've seen on the right. Whatever. Fantasy settings are grim and dark. It's not a reflection of who we are or how we feel the real world should be. No one thought it was. Do you think, like, people... When do you think that, like, when Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings, that was his ideal way the world should be?
Moreover, do you think when someone wears shit in order to piss you off that's how they actually think the world should be? No, they just want to piss you off.
Just, we will never accept nor condone any form of prejudice, hatred, or abuse in our company or in the Warhammer hobby, unless we specifically condone it against you, basically. If you come to a Games Workshop event or store and behave to the contrary, including wearing symbols of real-world hate groups, you will be asked to leave. We won't let you participate. We don't want your money. We don't want you in the Warhammer community. For those heroes out there running their own Warhammer events, we'd love for you to join us in this stance. Over the years, we've been fortunate to support events like Adepticon, the Las Vegas Open, Blood and Glory, and many more with terrain, prizes, and goodie bags. Yeah, just more PR bullshit.
I mean, let's be honest. Their official events are probably seeing lower and lower turnout.
It just...
And they're in a situation where, again, 3D printing is going to kill them as far as that hobby. So they're in a position where no matter what they do, they're not going to be able to get the money they want.
Just when you see a whole company spit in the face of the people that made, oh my god, if you espouse any hate group things, and that's so ambiguous too, hate groups. It's not like they said specifically Nazism, right? This is so ambiguous now. So, like, now you could be wearing, like, a black... It's not unfeasible to say you'd be wearing, like, Black Templar gear that isn't official GW stuff, and someone could call you, like, a Nazi or something, or a part of a hate group, and you could get banned from that.
I would like to move to have BLM considered a hate group.
Oh no, they're fighting for they're fighting for black people whiskey. They can't be hate. Black
Yeah,
people
but
can't
they're
hate.
fighting for black people by hating everyone else.
Nah, that's not how that works. They're only taking back what's rightfully theirs or something. I don't know what the current narrative is,
Yeah,
but
taking back what's rightfully theirs, like the German tax collectors.
yeah. German tax collectors continue to target U.S. airmen after he returns to America. Wait. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. German authorities have fined a recently retired U.S. airman for not paying German income tax on his military pay. A legally questionable move showing that even after active duty personnel return to civilian life in America, the German version of the IRS remains on the hunt.
Yeah, basically they're like, look, we know the United States paid you, and the base you were on is technically United States soil, but we want a cut of your money
But you're
that
in,
you already paid taxes on to the US.
you're on United States soil in Germany. That's applicable to German law. Yeah, like okay.
No,
No,
actually, the
no,
military.
I mean, I'm talking about joking wise. Like your U.S. soil is in Germany, which is applicable to German law.
But no,
It's
in
like,
reality,
no, that's not how that works.
the bases are considered like an embassy where it's
Yeah,
literally the United States soil. Uh, and that's the thing, though. He paid taxes to America.
yeah. The U.S. State Department has said repeatedly local tax officers are misinterpreting the NATO status of force agreement by forcing U.S. personnel to pay German income taxes and penalties that have reached six figures in several cases. But while the issue
How do they expect to collect?
That's true. Well, the issue, I guess, they could probably do things to you when you go back. That's gonna be a weird thing. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
and
Well,
it's not like they're going to be able to just send like a tax guy up to the military base and be like, yeah, we're arresting this guy because he owes us money. Like whoever's running that base is probably just going to laugh in your face.
while the issue is broached by Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin with his German counterpart in June, and has been discussed among diplomats for over a year, surprisingly, nothing has been done yet to protect service members and Defense Department civilians from the financially ruinous practice. Yay for double tax.
Wow.
Matt Larson,
Yeah.
who retired from the Air Force in July soon after the military moved into Florida, said he was stunned earlier this month to get word that the German tax collectors were still trying to track him down. I don't know where to go from here, said Larson, who retired as a master sergeant following a tour at Ramstein Air Base. What's happening is so unjust and we're not getting any support. Yeah, that's surprise again.
I mean, honestly, I'm surprised the US military just didn't look over and go, cut it out or we won't come to your aid anymore.
Yeah, you mind taking over just a second? I gotta go grab a soda.
Yeah. So, a November 8th letter from the, however you pronounce that, it's a German word, finance office, first delivered to someone living at his former off base residence, said he must pay a €200 fine for not filing German income taxes in 2019. But again, he's an American, technically on American soil, paying taxes to America and not being paid in any way by the German government. And it says the relatively small fine represents an opening move. The office, which is responsible for much of the area surrounding Ramstein Air Base, has imposed tax penalties as high as $300,000 after military pay and benefits like housing allowances, base discounts on gas, commissary privileges, and access to free Defense Department schools. What the fuck? Basically, all the stuff we, the taxpayer, have paid for our military to provide our troops, Germany is trying to charge taxes for. Fuck that. You know what? We might have to, put them in their place again. It's been almost 100 years.
So where are you at now?
Just two second paragraph from the top where it says, he was given a $200 fine, and the office for the area around that base has been imposing tax penalties as high as $300,000 after military pay and benefits like housing allowances, base discounts on gas, commissary privileges, and access to free Defense Department schools. So basically, all the shit us taxpayers pay for our troops, Germany's saying, oh yeah, that's taxable.
Yeah, they go fuck themselves on that.
Yeah, no, what I was saying when you weren't here is, you know what? We haven't fought Germany in almost 100 years, but I think we need to. Like, no, you don't get to fucking tax another country on the tax money that country collected to pay for shit. Fuck you. This genuinely pisses me off.
I like this. Larson says he has no intention of paying the Germans a fine or submitting U.S. tax forms. Larson's attorney in Germany, Detlev Ebrecht, sent a letter this week to the tax office telling him to back off. It's well known by your office that Mr. Larson is a professional airman of the U.S. forces. There's no legal basis for him to be taxable under the NATO Status of Forces Agreement. He said that the office violated its own protocols by issuing a fine before delivering a warning.
And of course they didn't respond.
Of course not. Like every government agency, complete transparency. Obviously. Yeah. The attempt to treat Larson as a local resident traces back to early 2020, when he was first informed by finance and officials that his marriage to a German woman made him a viable tax target.
Now, since to a German woman, was she just ethnically German, or was she a German citizen?
She's probably a German citizen, yeah.
Because if they're just going by ethnically German,
no, well, let's not get.
Because we've seen the Germans do things like that before.
I'm just to say, I don't think Germans can look at ethnicity that way anymore. Whiskey.
I mean, we'd like to think that.
Yeah.
But again, it's been 100 years. They might need their ass kicked again.
100 years?
Yeah.
No, it's been like
almost.
80.
Well, yeah, it's not exactly 100. It's almost 100. Look, we can do it early.
Well, technically, if you want to go for World War One.
Okay, there we go.
I mean, it's not technically untrue.
But look, 80 is close enough to round up to 100, I think. For generalizing.
Let's see. Oh, well, it's more than 100 if you count World War One, because that was in 1914.
Well, I was saying since the last time we kicked their ass.
Oh, yeah, then you're way off.
I'm not even off by 20 years. I'm only off by 18.
You're not a fucking elf. You can't look at time like that.
How do you know I'm not? A minute ago, you were claiming us the fucking Imperium.
Yeah, but that's metaphorically, okay? If you have some elf bones, though, you should hit your homie up. You gotta start a business.
But yeah, this is just pretty bullshit.
Let's see. The case put a spotlight on the financial danger faced by some U.S. military personnel in Germany at the hands of local tax offices, which argued the SOFA treaty designed to put military payoff limits can be disregarded under certain circumstances. Well, that would probably be one of them, yeah, from marrying a German citizen. For years, the U.S. military failed to mount a serious challenge against German tax collectors, situation that led personnel fending for themselves in disputes with finance offices. But Lauren's case, first reported by Stars and Stripes, elevated the matter to high levels of government in Washington and Berlin. The state and DoD are engaging with local and national German officials on a range of levels, but we do not publicly discuss the contents of our diplomatic conversations. said a spokeswoman for the U.S. Embassy in Berlin in a recent statement to Stars and Stripes. Our position remains that the vast majority of these cases are brought under a misinterpretation of the NATO Status of Forces Agreement. Be working strenuously in concert to protect the rights granted under that agreement.
I mean, there's an easier way to fix this. You just look at Germany and go, look, if you keep trying to tax our citizens, specifically our military, we just won't protect you when shit hits the fan. I guarantee you the very next day they'd stop doing that.
I would just laugh at them and be like, I just tell the soldiers, don't worry about it. And it's like, if once they did something like actionable, it's like then you go off the handle on them.
And it's not like the German government can tell any bank that, operates in the US to be like, oh yeah, seize that guy's funds for us. The bank's just gonna laugh their asses off at them. They know where their bread is buttered.
See, this is just a problem. This is like the symptom of America that can't fucking stand up for itself still. These soldiers shouldn't be having to deal with this shit. It's bad enough being forced to go out and deploy and shit like that for your country and whatnot. Right? And I know a lot of people signed up for that shit willingly, but there's a lot of people where that was just like, that was their career path. They really had no other choice.
I mean, let's be realistic. If this were the 80s or 90s, Germany wouldn't even consider doing this. But, because we've kind of become a little bit of a laughing stock in recent history. Let's go Brandon and all. Speaking of which, my local grocery store in the bathroom, there's graffiti on the walls that says, let's go Brandon.
Yeah, here we go.
It's gotten to the point where even people leaving graffiti are now basically saying, fuck Joe Biden. It's great.
Marriage to a German citizen, extending tours, buying property, owning a German specification car. Wow, so if you own a German car and sending child to a German school could indicate interest in the company that extend beyond the job, according to German authorities. That's so vague. So if you extend your tour, extending your tour could be considered, oh yeah, I can tax you now.
Well, I think that what they're trying to say is because he married the lady, and he got a car that made it seem like it was going to be permanent. It looked like he was going to be, a citizen of ours, and therefore we're taxing him like that.
Then I'm pretty sure he will file for dual citizenship. And he would probably have been accepted because he was a soldier.
Realistically, Germany is desperate for money right now.
Yeah.
Because when the UK pulled out of the EU, that basically left Germany to pay for everything for the EU. Because it was only like Germany, England, and I think maybe one other country that actually contributed funds, and everyone else received it like welfare.
Hey, you wanted to copy the United States so much, there you go. Welcome to the party. You're the federal government. Everyone to take from you. And
it's kind of like a shittier version of our federalized states.
Yeah, because the difference with Germany is they don't have an army to actually enforce anything.
They wanted to create an EU army, if you remember.
Yeah, whatever happened to that?
Fucking UK left and they didn't have the money.
Let's see.
You're looking it up?
Yeah, fucking course I am. EU realizes it can't rely on American protection. Now is a blueprint for a new joint military force. So they are, in fact, yeah. See that, yeah. Actually, that is kind of a thing now. Of course they would be amping that up now because China is more of a threat. So now, of course, they could probably just use the pretense of America being a fucking idiot everywhere it goes now as excuse to actually get a military task force. And it could still include Britain because Britain would have a, like, politically, if you stay out of that, right, you would be, I imagine, I don't know European politics, but from an American point of view. If you stayed out of the EU joint military force, because the way they're probably going to pitch is like, oh, it's just, you can just join in if you want, right? Like Europe, you're like England, you're fine. You can
Well,
just tag along with us. We know you're not in the EU, but you know, you can still, because you're part of Europe, you can help. And it would just drag the.
honestly, England would probably side with us, though.
Well, I'm talking about this is specifically just for them using the pretense to build a military.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, if they offered that to England, England's actually more likely to go with us just because we provide so much military support to them.
And they can kick our ass now.
Well, there is one little hitch for basically all of Europe when it comes to fielding armies. They use our GPS satellites.
So does China.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, the first thing that's going to happen if a real war breaks out, only the people we want to have GPS are going to have GPS.
Well, that and the Chinese.
I mean, that's what Space Force is there to take care of.
That Space Force is never going to get built.
Yeah, but let's be honest. I'm pretty sure we've got militarized satellites up there already.
Even then, they probably have Chinese parts in them that compromise their security.
I'm pretty sure the contractors we work with have to produce everything over here.
Well, I don't know. I have no faith.
But no, and I'm pretty sure there's actual laws about that, which is one of the reasons our military stuff costs so fucking much.
Hey, I mean, if you keep China out of it, but
It's all right. It looks like China might be going through a massive economic crash, so it'll drag everyone else with it. You know, who's been relying on them.
But here was an interesting point of this here. In no other country where large numbers of troops are based, including Japan, South Korea, UK, Italy, Spain, do U.S. personnel face the same risks encountered by those in Germany? While his individual command had his back, he said higher headquarters, including U.S. Forces Europe, U.S. Army Europe, Africa, and U.S. European Command, have failed to sufficiently sound a warning. All you hear how great it is, all the opportunities in Germany. Lauren said, but there are no disclaimers, like what if you were married to a German, or if you send your kids to a local school. There's none of that. They're setting everybody up for failure. The exact number of personnel affected by the tax dispute, where some 32K troops are based,
Fucking hell.
and thousands of military civilians also work in supporting missions, isn't known. German tax office hasn't been forthcoming about the numbers of cases they have against U.S. personnel or how much money they've seized from them over the years. Last year, the Kassel Landstuhl, oh my god, Germany, office told Stars and Stripes that alone had 400 cases against SOFA personnel.
Look.
That's a lot.
If they've pissed off 32,000 troops, just hand them rifles and say, you know, go repossess enough stuff to pay for whatever they took from you. We're bringing back, you know, looting and then raising the town. That's such bullshit. Like, there is no point in history that I think you can point to where one country stationed its troops in another, and that other country was able to tax the troops on the money they were being paid by their own government.
Yeah, it's a pretty egregious overstep, to be honest. Like, because it's like part of them makes sense. If you buy property, I would like if you actually buy like land in Germany, maybe.
Well, here's the thing.
But
if you
even
bought
then,
land,
shouldn't you be
like,
paying property tax?
Yeah, I was gonna say you have like property tax, and if you actually buy stuff, you do pay tax on what you're purchasing. So it's not as though that he's not paying any taxes. They just want more. See, I would just write them back a letter that says, here in America, we We said no taxation without representation. I don't have a vote in your country, so fuck off.
Now for something technically a little sweeter.
Little, damn it. I was going to say lighthearted, but yeah, sweeter is a better word.
Which is funny.
Canada's powerful maple syrup cartel is facing a shortage so bad it had to tap into 50 million pounds of strategic reserves.
Oh my god.
I find it amusing Canada has a strategic syrup reserve.
Really? It's in Quebec?
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder. Canada's maple. No wonder it's like this then. I've always wondered why there's like a maple syrup thing and there's like laws against it because it's ran by dumb fucking French people. Fucking idiots. Canada's maple syrup cartel drained about half of its strategic stockpile this year. A short harvest season coupled with increasing demand drove the move. Yeah, it's totally not COVID or anything, right? We need to produce more maple syrup. Really? Just do the what everybody else is doing, like Nvidia. Just charge more for it and then produce less.
This is great. Canada's maple syrup cartel can't keep up. The Quebec maple syrup producers, known as Maple Syrup Cartel, because they control such a large share of the market, is draining 50 million pounds of the sweet liquid gold from its reserve, and about half of the entire strategic stockpile.
Yeah, we need to produce more maple syrup. Wow, amazing quote.
The reserve is there to make sure that we are always able to sell and offer this product.
Could you imagine if maple syrup goes away?
I'm pretty sure here in America, a lot of the syrup we have isn't actually Canadian maple syrup.
It's not, because in order to get actual Canadian maple syrup, you need to have like licenses and pay for it properly. It's really fucking stupid.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had any.
I have. It's not amazingly better than what we have.
Yeah, I'll just stick with my synthetic stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it is good for cooking though. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, they mentioned they're seeing more people cook at home.
Hey, referencing the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I wonder what caused the fucking syrup to... People are getting fatter, more people are cooking.
He probably told the people making it they couldn't do it anymore and to go home and lock themselves up.
There's probably a large danger hair girl somewhere just drinking it from the fucking tap.
But Dros, I was told that in Canada, the public parks didn't have water fountains. They had maple syrup fountains.
If only. I mean, we would be a lot fatter if that was true.
Actually, in reality, what's kind of interesting, pretty much all other countries don't really have drinking fountains at parks like the US does.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wonder why that would be.
So just one more thing America has that others don't.
I heard someone call Arizona America's Dubai the other day. And it made me chuckle.
I'm kind of curious as to what they mean by that.
Do you know the story behind the city of Dubai?
I know bits and pieces.
Yeah, like, so there wasn't a city there, and they basically used slave labor to like build a really fucked up city out of the sands.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's like it's basically a metaphor for a city that was built off of like slave labor that's not supposed to be there. It's an unnatural place.
Well, I mean, I won't argue that we have towns and kind of unnatural places for a town. But I don't think all of it was built off of slave labor. In fact, I don't think Arizona was around during the original, like, emancipation and stuff. When
Yeah.
did Arizona become a state? I'm kind of curious now. If my browser could fucking open. Oh, hey, it opened up. Sometimes
1912.
Windows 10 sorts itself out.
Yeah, so there's probably like trails and stuff like that, but not really like a big. See, that's what I love when people go like, "You're the ground you're staying." I had someone tell me, "The ground that you're on right now probably hosted slaves." I'm like, "Not really. My state wasn't a big slave trade state, so you're probably wrong there, actually." Now, if you want to talk about like a Spaniard dying to a crocodile, that would be more on point, yeah.
Okay, so Arizona became a state in February 14th, 1912.
Yeah, so I say there's probably some trails, but probably not like a big slave
And
state.
it was apparently we bought it off Spain. So
Yeah.
yeah, not much of a slavery heritage here.
Oh, but Whiskey, you gotta remember you're white, so everyone has slavery heritage. If it wasn't your ancestors, it was your ancestors' ancestors.
No, see, a lot of my ancestors were Irish, and they were actually made into slaves.
Yeah. You know what they'll say to that? I saw someone arguing that on Twitter, like, yeah, but they had slavery by choice. It's like, it doesn't matter.
No.
It's like, and how do you know?
By definition, it can't be by choice.
We're talking about indentured servitude, which is actually by choice, because that was like the loan back then. But they're like, who says you really had a choice in that sense either, right?
Yeah. Their arguments are so stupid. You know, it reminds me of what the fuck's his name? Mark Twain said, "Never argue with an idiot. They'll drag you down to their level and beat you with experience."
Like hell they will. I'm an idiot too. I've had plenty of experience being an idiot.
Wow, their cartel controls more than 70% of the maple syrup supply worldwide.
Yeah, and again, you need like a license to buy from them or some shit. At least this is what I've always been told. And like smuggling it across the border is a crime. Yeah.
You know, the U.S. maple syrup market, you know, they could expand. This is an opportunity.
Oh, I forgot about this. Yeah, they had like this gigantic heist where they stole like so many gallons of maple syrup. Yeah.
Fucking Canada.
Oh, that's so bro.
What the hell?
Yeah. What a chat.
Heist of the century.
Could you imagine siphoning that many gallons of syrup? It's like, I got this shit for life.
Damn it. This would be almost as if like some of the Somalian pirates like hijacked a cargo ship that was only carrying watermelons. Like that's the level this is on.
Yeah, where are you parking at, bro? Wherever I goddamn need to. You want some melons?
It's like, son of a bitch. This is so stereotypical to have fucking Canadians stealing 500,000 gallons of fucking
Jeez,
syrup.
man, that would be so like
Oh shit. Someone's getting sticky tonight. That's what that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. Yeah, in my mind, I want to make like a story about this now. Like, I wish a Hollywood producer would come over and be like, "Here's like all the money you need to make this movie." Because I would make a movie about this, and it would be a power couple, be a man and woman. And it's like, look, we've been master thieves for all of time, or since we've gotten together, right? We gotta do one more heist, to cap off the cornerstone of our career and make sure that we can just retire forever. What's your plan? We're gonna siphon a bunch of fucking maple syrup.
Cue the song "Pour Some Sugar on Me" from Def Leppard.
Yeah. Well, they're like bathing. There'll be a scene where they're like bathing in syrup, right? And it's a pour sugar on.
Fucking hell.
It'll be great.
We need to make this movie. This will be next summer's blockbuster.
Oh yeah. The Sweet Escape.
And we'll make
boom. The Sweet Escape. There you go. Boom.
No. It doesn't sound thieving or heisting enough.
Yeah, but it's after
but you're close.
But it's after that Gwen Stefani song. That's that from a long time ago. So
okay, I don't get the reference, so that's probably why.
Well, I can't pull it up because we get hit by a copyright thing. I'm checking to see if there's a movie with this style.
We'd get hit by a copyright strike harder than their reserves got hit by thieves.
Damn it! What kind of plot is that? See, like this is the problem. It's already a film. Not the actual plot I want, but the actual title. Michael, a 50-year-old, The Sweet Escape. Michael, a 50-year-old man, graphic designer, decides to change the urban lifestyle and go on an adventure. Fascinated by airmail, he dreams of Jean Mormose while he's on a scooter. Joan, I guess. One day, Michael sees a picture of a kayak. Look how gay of a... Dude, my plot's infinitely better. Two couples, a power couple, get together for one ultra heist, or they heist 12.5% of Canada's overall maple syrup reserve and get away. Like,
you could just name the movie "Sticky Situation."
That's probably a movie title.
Yeah, or at the very least a porn title.
It's got it, man. I'll get it, man.
But yeah, you could make you could make up whatever the hell you wanted for this, and it would be amazing.
Yeah,
you just have them like Ocean's 11 that shit.
Yeah, just have it where they have to go and like smuggle in, and they meet like a redhead who's like in on the
like fucking Mission Impossible and shit.
Yeah, it just
it would be amazing.
And like they're siphoning it throughout the entire movie, right? And you know the drama starts to like ramp up near the end, and yeah, it'd be pretty easy. Like just the whole thing starts going well. There's a few hitches. Someone starts getting smart. And they call in an investigator. Yeah, it would be great. Or you already have an investigator there, and he's like looking, and they end up like throwing him in a vat of maple syrup and killing him. And so like they come back to like him just lying in a vat of maple syrup, which is also tainted more product, by the way. You can't sell that now.
Yeah. Shit.
It would be great. Because like when I think about this, I think just have someone like Lupin and have someone like Fujiko. You see like a guy whose whole life is stealing. Right?
No, I know what you can name it. It's probably taken, but you'll name it this anyway.
What?
Because it's a power couple. We'll have, the guy will come up with the heist. We'll call the movie Sugar Daddy.
Yeah.
Because he's like the Mac Daddy of sugar heists.
I would even
Oh, shit.
I would even pay. I don't know how she looks now, but I guess I would pay Gwen Stefani to have a fucking role as like a desk clerk at a hotel or something. As they like, because when they get in, they like have the Sweet Escape playing as they're like celebrating stuff. Like I would do like all the set piece shit.
Yeah, there's so much you can do with just that as a plot. You know, sometimes real life is stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck would imagine like this massive maple syrup heist?
Yeah, the only problem is you can't make a second one because now it's they're dying to get their syrup. That was really good steal.
Look, you can always have a second one. There can always be a sequel.
We're gonna steal the other half of their reserves. It's like a fraction so small of what we stole before. It's embarrassing, really, but whatever.
Shit.
Oh.
No, I got it. Instead of the Italian Job, just name it the Canadian Job.
Oh my god, the sea.
And you basically do the exact same beats almost, but with syrup.
No, whiskey, I got it. We do the first movie is Canadian syrup, right? They had a truck of like GPUs that went stolen, that got broken into, and they stole all the graphics cards in California. That'll be the next one. Because now they're like, okay, boys, I got our next heist. I thought you said this was the last one. I know, but there was like a pandemic, and the price of and there's cryptocurrency, inflation, and there's a truck with a graphics card on it that costs $3,000 in the black market right now. And there's 784 of them on here. This is unprecedented levels of amazing. Yeah, it would be amazing. And what's even funnier is they would steal them and they wouldn't like sell them. They would just mine with them. That would be the super twist of the movie. It's just like, yeah, we were gonna sell them, but then we realized we could make fat fucking gains by mining cryptocurrency. So.
Shit.
And then the third one will be like the crypto crash, right? Where he lost his family and kids and stuff. Yeah.
Does it just turn into like an 80s action movie?
Yeah. Just no.
Where he just basically goes shooting up random nondescript terrorists or something.
Well, see, for the third one, I'm gonna really cap it off as an amazing. Because I'm gonna go full fucking normie buster. He's gonna break into like the cryptocurrency headquarters and tell people to give him his bitcoins back. Like, I can imagine that after that movie too, people are like, I need to find out where the Bitcoin headquarters is, or the cryptocurrency headquarters. I'm gonna get my goddamn Monero. I'm gonna rob that shit. I'm gonna get all the coins. Like, it'll literally be the exact opposite of downloading RAM.
Fucking downloading.
Now you're stealing Bitcoin in real life.
Shit. I just can't even.
See, I should be a Hollywood producer. I'll make the fucking crazy movies that they won't make.
No, Dros. We should be Hollywood producers.
But I would just make a movie. Just take the third one, break it off from the series, and make it its own, and just call it Crypto.
Yeah, there's all sorts of crazy shit that could be done.
Yeah. That's the stupid thing. You can just roll. Honestly, I would be the crazy motherfucker. I would write up like 30 fucking ideas. Put a blindfold on like the new girl intern and be like, all right, I want you to throw this dart at this wall. We're gonna do whatever she hits.
You make me want to start a movie production company, Dros. the stupid shit, because as stupid as it is, it would probably make more money than any of the woke shit they're coming out with.
Oh yeah.
We find a guy that can do the voice that what was it Fontaine used to do, where it's like, in a world where smuggling syrup was against the law, one man, one mission.
There's so much maple. It's fucking sweetness trapped behind the border, guys. It's the last job. It's the last job.
And you have all the jump cuts with some of the action scenes, and you have the very bassy cinematic music in the background. It's so fucking perfect.
Look, if they can make a movie off of a killer tire, I can make a movie based off of a maple syrup heist.
Dros, if they can make a movie based off emojis, we can make a movie based off fucking anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably a lower standard, yeah. Because, I mean, dude, the maple syrup heist would be kids friendly. It's not like I'm gonna have suggestive fucking scenes in it, right?
Well, except maybe the part where they're
syrup.
like swimming in it, with
well, you can,
sugar on me.
Yeah, but you can make 2 scenes about that real easy. You can just give them the uncut version for adults. That'd be fine. Right.
There we go.
And make sure China gets the cut version, like the one where they're censored all the time. Because fuck them.
You send it to China, and they approve it, and then on the DVDs you print and send over, it's actually just got like in Chinese in the background of it, China is number 2. Just throughout it.
Or just
down with the CCP.
Replace that scene with 2 girls, 1 cup. And see how
jeez.
And see how Chinese audiences take it. You can vocal test them later.
Well, coming off all of that, I think we need a moment of clarity.
Yeah, we're at 3 hours now, so that's probably a good time to actually start shutting the show down. Now, my rant about Warhammer was like an hour in of itself. Oh, fuck, because it's just so stupid. Why would you do it? Fucking...
Because they hate you, Dros.
Yeah, they do.
They hate you.
You know, like I have my paint palette and stuff set up, and I still haven't painted yet. But I'm going to. I'm gonna paint these fucking Marines, and then I'm just gonna like fucking put them away, like display the ones I like, and then like Games Workshop's probably gonna be like not exactly a place I ever frequent ever again. Oh yeah, I gotta wait for my White Scar too. But I mean, these are all that you're paid for, so I haven't. They just make it hard to like support the things you like, because I want to buy more Space Marines and paint them, but so wrong. How do I full screen this? Oh, it won't let me. Yeah, it won't let me. Well, okay.
You can double click on it to full screen it.
There we go.
Come all you friends and neighbors, the story I will tell concerning
Incoming copyright.
Rittenhouse and the criminals that he killed, and the
Where did you find this, by the way?
criminals that he killed.
A different stream. Someone threw them the link. I forget who it was. And then they played it, and I went and looked it up.
A gang of thugs flew up on him. They tried to take his life. They tried to take his life.
But yeah, a folk song about a modern day hero is a great way, I think, to bring a moment of clarity.
Fucking love a good banjo player.
raper Joseph Rosenbaum was first to strike a blow. But Coyote turned and faced the foe. With his rifle laid him low. With his rifle laid him low. Then little Tony Hoover come skating to the fray. But Kyle drew a bead on him, and he took his life away. He took his life away. The last to try young Rittenhouse was pistol packing Gage. But Kyle blew his arm in two, and Gage did run away. And Gage did run away. Kyle Rittenhouse is innocent. It's only common sense. For he did not do nothing wrong. He fought in self-defense. He fought in self-defense.
And that's the show.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining into this HateCast.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving indeed. I'm thankful for all the hate we were able to spread today, Dros.
Yeah. Fox Games Workshop.
With a dildo bat.
How do I stop telling it to record? OBS, why are you so difficult?